doesn't say we're live. Oh, there we go. We're live, pal. Oh, fuck. How's it going? Are you about to say fuck on the air?
20 seconds, it says. Jeez, I didn't get that.
It says 9 seconds for me, so it wasn't live for me as long as it was for you, apparently.
Ooh.
That's weird. That's weird.
I want to go ahead and have a moment of silence for the so we don't do it on the podcast. Let's have a moment of silence for the whole fucking Halloween franchise.
I thought you were honestly going to have a moment of silence for Kevin Nash's son, who we found out.
The second I said, let's have a moment of silence.
I really thought that's where you were going with that. That's why I was just like, oh yeah, this is the right thing to do. We should give a moment of silence. Then you're like, to the Halloween franchise. I'm like, fuck.
Now we do like to talk a little bit of wrestling here. Are you a Kevin Nash guy? Did you like Kevin's work?
I've always liked Kevin Nash to an extent. I mean, he was never like my favorite wrestler or anything, but I always thought he was pretty cool. Diesel and all that
for sure.
I like the name Diesel. Oh, you know what I didn't understand in the very beginning was when I first became a wrestling fan. I really didn't understand like the multiple names for wrestlers. Like I just couldn't grasp it for whatever reason, like why they were. So like I didn't understand, well, why was he Diesel then? And he's not Diesel anymore and he's Kevin Nash. So it was Diesel, not his real name. Like this is when I was like a fucking, kid. So like I'm just trying to rationalize all this shit. I'm just like, so Diesel, why did he change his name from Diesel? But because I thought Diesel was pretty cool, but now I know why, because they're not allowed to use that.
Yeah, I guess whenever I first started watching wrestling, that was the era I started in. Diesel was the WWF champion. Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon were killing it in ladder matches.
Ramon.
Pretty good era to start in, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I missed out on that era, but I watched it, through documentaries and stuff. And the WWE Network, of course. So,
do you remember WWF Confidential?
Oh, dude, that show was awesome. And they actually did some crazy stuff at the time. At least, it seemed risque at the time. Some insider information. I think we should actually have a real moment of silence, though, for Kevin Nash's son. We did learn about that just not too long before the podcast. Like, that was pretty unfortunate. Don't know the details of it. We just know, he lost his son age 26, I think. That's pretty young to go, man. That's really young. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. I'm not going to even speculate. I'd hate to say anything.
Yeah, they're keeping it hush hush. They did the whole respect the family post and all that. We will go with our moment of silence right now.
How long do we go for?
That's
we
it.
Didn't, we didn't discuss this. Okay, good. We didn't discuss this. we didn't have a plan and set time.
Yeah, I can't imagine losing a child. Woo! Can't imagine.
Tim Nicholson said that he loved it as a movie and felt okay with it as a Halloween.
Yeah. Now, if you're saying as a Halloween, if you're kind of given a throwing a bone to Halloween 3, as we know that wasn't in the kind of line of thinking there. If you're gonna go ahead and put it in that category, okay.
I'm not gonna. I want to ask you a bunch of questions after that, but I'm not going to. It's not the actual show yet, so we're gonna get back to wrestling. AEW went head to head with WWE's developmental territory NXT last night. Tuesday night, a couple nights ago, and just barely beat them in the ratings. I like to rub that in. I rubbed that into Glenn. I just said, "Hey, how does it feel knowing that AEW, supposedly big brand, barely?"
Let's ask. We got Scott Blackwell. Scotty, what'd you watch, man? Are you an NXT guy or AEW guy? Were you happy about AEW getting another win, or what's going on with that? Hey, let's just be honest though. Triple H even said it in that interview. NXT is developmental.
Well, that's exactly what I was referencing. And I love, for the record, anybody I love AEW. I actually like AEW a lot. I just like to bust balls about ratings and that kind of shit. Because Triple H did say that, and it was funny. He was like, "Well, they beat our developmental territory. Good for them." Like, I mean, it's actually pretty. He's right though. It's not like they beat Raw or SmackDown.
Mhm. Just to kind of pay attention to the chat here, Tim Nicholson writes in, which he's a former co-host of mine back over a decade ago of
I
my
thought I
old
was your
show.
co-host.
Yeah, well, that's old Nick Sin here.
Oh,
He
okay,
said
okay.
that I heard that they're launching a new trilogy based on Season of the Witch. Would you be for that, Mike, or are you kind of wishing they would just stick with Myers because that's who sells?
Michael Myers is Halloween to me. I don't understand Halloween 3. I don't know who woke up and decided that that was the route to take the franchise. Michael Myers is where your money is. So why do you fucking axe the dude that brings home the bacon?
I watched as a child, I watched the first, I think 20 minutes of Season of the Witch, and I turned it off once there was zero mentions of Myers, and I kind of put it together then that this movie isn't about Myers, so I've never seen it.
Wow. Yeah, that I imagine at the time people, because the internet wasn't really a thing then, or and
Let's go ahead and talk about Adam Page, man. He knocked himself the fuck out.
dude, yeah, it didn't even look that. It honestly didn't look that bad from the clip, but apparently he hit himself hard enough to knock himself out. It's pretty
Do you think
crazy.
it's a work, or are you taking
Nah,
everybody's?
I don't think that they. I mean, they stopped the main event that was for the world title and all that. Like, I doubt that that would have been a work.
I heard that AEW has done this before, though.
Do you remember a specific incident?
Throwing up the X. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody was like, "Oh, they're treating this Adam Page deal like a real thing, but they've actually done this before." And they referenced, I think it was one of the female workers that they.
Yeah, that's I mean, I hope. I mean, I don't think they should joke about that kind of stuff, but you never know. I don't think so, though. I mean, for a world title match or main event, I wouldn't fuck with that.
Yeah, and real quick, Tim in the chat here, Halloween was always supposed to be an anthology style. I totally get that. I have a lot of respect for the man who made these movies, the man
And
who
why
started
was
it all.
Michael Myers in Halloween 2 if it was anthology style? It was supposed to be like a new story every time.
Okay, maybe a two-parter of an anthology.
Two-parter.
Maybe
I feel like that should have been explained up front. If somebody explained something to me like, "Hey, the third movie, guys, is not going to be about Michael Myers. We're telling a whole new story." It's a bait and switch.
They just started Michael Myers off too fucking good, and the fans wanted more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I imagine when they made that first movie, they had no idea he'd be a cult icon. I don't want to give up all my material though for the actual show. I feel like I'm running through everything.
Yeah.
One thing that Scott Blackwell says is that AEW is great. Rampage is awful though. I never watched Rampage. Have not watched one full Rampage since CM Punk debuted. That was the only Rampage I tuned into.
Yeah, I was actually out of town. I don't have cable, so I was out of town whenever CM Punk made his Rampage debut. Like you, that is the only Rampage I've ever seen. I was not impressed. I loved the moment with CM Punk. Loved that. But it's never made me feel like Rampage was can't miss TV.
Actually, that was the only thing I even watched on the show. I remember watching CM Punk and then I turned it off.
What's your take on NXT, Travis?
You like what they're doing?
I think, it's like
HBK's in charge down there.
Whenever it started, it was like indie wrestling, but it's on TV. It's backed by the WWE. It's like it's their developmental. It's their Bush League. It's their,
for real,
their minor league.
It is, but when Triple H was running the show, especially the early years, it was in its own right a third brand.
I totally get that. But OVW
Those takeovers. But yeah.
OVW had TV. Never watched them. There's been a lot of developmental companies like AEW. Half of their roster's developmental. That's why I don't watch it.
They really are, though. Unfortunately, they really are.
So
we're going to trigger some people tonight.
No, but you just mentioned the takeovers. One of the best matches I've seen in the last 10 years was at a takeover. It was whenever Nakamura wrestled Sami Zayn, and that match was fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura was really good in NXT. He hasn't been good since NXT, actually. Oh, no, he won the Royal Rumble. See, they dropped the ball with guys. He won the fucking Royal Rumble. Why wouldn't you just pull the trigger and make him a superstar?
You know, and I'm glad that he just mentioned these two as well. I thought the Gargano and Ciampa feud was magic.
Yeah.
I've never been into Gargano, and that's just because whenever I first started wrestling, I knew about Gargano. He was a wrestler from Ohio, actually, from your neck of the woods, Mike, and he was on major shows in Ohio. And I
I
remember,
saw
I
him
think I
live once,
talked to
actually.
Gargano.
I saw Gargano on a show with Tyler Black.
I had spoken to Gargano whenever I was very early in the business, and he just came off as just a pompous, rude, just kind of an asshole. And
That's
that,
unfortunate.
after that, but then you see him on TV in the last couple years, and you see him in interviews, and he's like, I fucking love the wrestling business. I love doing this and that and this. I was like, well, why was you a bully to Travis Dufour 15 years ago, bud? Right? What did I do, Mike?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
I was trying to learn. I was like, Gargano, teach me, man. Teach me the way.
So that's all you see. You don't see NXT as anything more than just developmental. I mean, it definitely, can you agree it was at a higher level a couple years ago
That's what the
for a
fans were
time.
saying. That hey, that's what the
That's what
fans were saying, and nothing made me budge. I didn't watch it.
fair enough. I mean, I didn't either because I chose AEW at the time.
So apparently, Sami Zayn and Cesaro back in the old NXT, maybe the best match in their history. I will have to
I have not seen
maybe
it.
I'll have to run that one back. I like Cesaro enough. I'm more so a Sami Zayn guy. I like Sami whenever he was a mask character. What was the name of that?
El Generico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got the red beard, and a lot of fans said, is Travis Dufour actually El Generico?
Could be.
Is that?
It's possible. We'll
And
never know.
me and Sammy are similar body types. Maybe not anymore, but
I like Sammy and the Bloodline with Roman and the Usos and all that. I think it works.
Mike, should I start watching wrestling again?
Triple H is making some positive changes right now. I'm not going to be the guy that says, "Oh, WWE is, amazing now. It's the best it's ever been." But I will say, way better than when Vince McMahon was in charge. Way better.
I mean, that's what I've been hearing as well. It's just tough, man.
It's tough to, once you get out of it and you lose that passion. It's really tough for me, at least. That's what I found. I am so disconnected from it. It is really hard to hop back on the train.
It's just the little things too. Like if I know that there's writers writing out people's promos still, I can't fucking watch it.
Well, Triple H actually just hired a writer from the Marvel side of things. So there's a Marvel writer. They used to hire soap opera writers. Now they're hiring Marvel writers. They're going above and beyond.
So wrestling is going to get fucking really good now.
Oh yeah, really good.
God damn it. Like wrestling today pisses me off almost as much as Halloween Ends does.
We got a few minutes left. I want to talk about MJF because you sent me a message saying, I don't get it. There's just something about the guy. And I read that and I'm like, that's so funny because I actually have the opposite feeling. I look at him and his promos and whatever he does in the ring, and I am just so sold on this man. Like, I think he's the future of the business, a big superstar. What is it about MJF? And did you watch the promo with William Regal, the exchange?
I did. He was like, oh, I had a tryout, and William Regal was the guy who pulled me to the side, and he was like, we're gonna sign you. Oh, you're actually too young. I don't know, man.
You weren't into it.
Like I've told you, dude, whenever MJF had that feud with CM Punk and CM Punk showed the world that he is fucking 10 times better than MJF at promos, that just made MJF look bad to me.
So MJF, does he have the it factor? Yes or no?
If he would just, and I hate to be this guy because people told me this as a wrestler for fucking years. If he would just put on some weight, look a little bit more like a wrestler.
And he has been putting on a little bit more weight. He's better now than he was months ago, as far as the muscle mass goes. Not like light years better, but a little better. He's been doing the arm curls lately.
And I hate to say it, maybe he needs a manager. Maybe he needs somebody down at ringside to fucking help him, since he doesn't, because if you put MJF in the ring with Wardlow, if you put him in the ring with Miro, Like, he just does not fucking size up to these guys.
So we have a comment here. Hot take from Scott Blackwell. What do you guys think of CM Punk shooting on everyone in that press conference? Oh, and real quick on the note about CM Punk, they actually mentioned CM Punk and the Elite on Dynamite at some point, like in a video package or something. He was, and I know the couple weeks after the press conference, it was like, nobody mentioned his name. Even when they talked about former ROH champions, they didn't mention his name. But this past week they did. So that's like promising that they're at least willing to mention him. Maybe things have smoothed over. Maybe he will be back. Who knows? Anyway, your hot take.
Yeah, I mean, CM Punk is definitely no Doug Williams. I wish Doug Williams would have fucking gotten his shake. But no, I mean, I think that Punk proved to the world that he is the same fucking guy that let the wrestling business get him bitter. I think that there's a way to go about politics and working with other people.
And that was not it.
Punk just can't do it.
Yeah. Do you think he can change?
If Punk is right, and the Young Bucks are the ones who were fucking starting shit in the back.
Possible.
If that is the case, yeah, that is fucked. Then it is time for Punk to go or the Young Bucks to go. Because it's just not good for business.
Yeah. Well, now it's time for the show.
I believe so. I believe it is. Guys, we're about... We
I was going for it, buddy. I was going for it.
Folks, we're about to run the intro. Whenever we come back, there will be no wrestling talk until the end of the episode. Today's episode is about Halloween Ends and, some of the nostalgia as well. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things Halloween. But okay, and here we go. Welcome in, one and all, to another episode of the Travis Dufour Show. Thank you so much for joining me. And on today's episode, we will be discussing Halloween Ends. Was it a dumpster fire, or is it going to go down in history as one of the greatest films of all time? But before we get into that, welcoming back to the show, my co-host, Mike Yatsko.
Dig it, Daddy!
And did you dig it, Daddy?
Dude, Oscar worthy. That's all I'm saying.
Oh
it's getting Oscar buzz, this Halloween movie. It is getting rave reviews. Everyone loves it. It was awesome.
No, the way that Jamie Lee Curtis showed up on Kimmel, showed up on the red carpet, showed up in every fucking thing. She did a mass media tour. She made the world believe this is the fucking film, man.
Dude, she did. She is so pumped about this movie in interviews. I think this is actually intentional. They know it is bad, and that's why they're pushing harder to try to make you think it's not. Like, if we tell them it's not bad, they won't think it's bad.
That makes sense, actually.
A little reverse psychology on us.
I mean, and now that I've seen the film and just kind of remembering what she has said in these interviews and stuff, she does say, like, it's a great story. It's a story. It's ups and downs. It's a great story.
I've had people actually tell me it's a great story. I didn't see it. I mean, I saw the movie.
She should have just said it's a great standalone story.
In fact, and that's what if it was a standalone movie, not a part of this trilogy at all, totally for it. I love people taking chances on new stories, new ideas. But this movie had one simple fucking goal. Pick up from the last movie and focus on Laurie versus Michael fucking Myers and have it be the end of Halloween in that sense. You had one goal. That's all.
I mean,
it's like,
in 2018, Mike, 2018, the first film of this trilogy, fucking great.
Awesome.
Film.
Love that movie. And it was everything it needed to be. There was some nice throwbacks. Laurie was like this old woman who was like waiting for Michael Myers with this booby-trapped house. She knew he would one day come for her, and she was ready. The house burned down with Michael in it and all that stuff. It was intense.
I mean, she's an alcoholic.
Oh
She's
yeah.
showing her real wounds from all this traumatic stuff, and that's another thing. That is another fucking thing. Jamie Lee Curtis was saying in these goddamn interviews, she was like, "This is a story about trauma. It's a story about what happens when you're in a traumatic event." I'm like, I didn't know you were talking about another fucking character,
It
not you.
didn't it didn't seem like Laurie Strode had trauma in this one. It's almost like she was healed. She was like going grocery shopping and smiling and enjoying thinking about a potential love interest. I mean, that's all well and good, but like the last two movies, she was like pretty down in the dumps and pretty like, oh, Michael's coming for me. And now she's like living in a normal house, no booby traps. Like she's cured.
Completely cured. Completely cured. I mean, she's ready to get fucked. I mean, she's she
She's ready
literally.
to she's ready to get railed. I mean,
She's like, I can only deal with so much trauma before I get fucked. Jamie,
also, she lost her fucking daughter in the last movie, and she's better now than she was in both the other past movies.
even the daughter, who is, Allison Nelson in the movie, Laurie Strode's granddaughter, she is acting like, hey, let's fucking. One of the things that I really did not like was that Laurie wanted to make her that pie. And then she ends up burning the pie, and she's like, "Oh,
I'm
I
so
just wanted to
sorry.
make the perfect pie. Like this was going to be a great Halloween till that happened."
This was like the start of a whole nother trilogy in my mind. Like it's almost, and I asked a couple people, I'm like, hey, did they like bring in some new writers? Because I thought, okay, this is what happened. The same thing that happened to Star Wars, the sequel, which you haven't seen the sequel movies. But the same thing happened. There was different writers for each movie. But no, the same fucking writers for all three movies. So that's not even a good excuse. It's like they wanted to fuck it up. Halloween Kills, though. Do you remember that movie? They had even more throwbacks. They actually had throwbacks to Halloween Season of the Witch with the three masks and all that, and all
Yeah.
these throwback characters coming back. What did you think of that movie?
Well, Halloween Kills kind of throws me through a loop because I saw people shitting on that movie before it came out. But it came out, then I really enjoyed Halloween Kills, and people have been shitting on Halloween Ends. I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna really like this movie if history repeats itself. I was dead wrong.
Yeah, I was so pumped. My fiance and I were ready to watch it Friday night. We made some food and got some snacks or whatever,
Well,
sitting
hey,
down.
what was your snacks? What was the food and drinks? Did you have some alcohol?
She made no, there's no alcohol, but she made some like mac and cheese. We had pizza and mac and cheese, so the ultimate healthy dinner before a movie. Um, but we're sitting down, so excited. She's not a horror movie fan to begin with, so I'm like, hey, but she did watch Halloween and Halloween Kills. She watched those, so I said, hey, we have to watch this. Well, we gotta finish the trilogy together. So we're just so excited. She's even kind of excited, surprisingly. And I would say the first 30 minutes, I was into it. Someone said to me before watching it, hey, when you watch this, just go in with an open mind. You know, don't come in with certain expectations. Go in with an open mind. And I said, okay, no problem. I usually do that with movies. Mind is clear. Started watching this thing 30 minutes in. I'm like, okay, a little different than I was expecting, but I'm here for it. Let's see where this goes. After about the 30 or 40-minute mark, I was lost, disconnected from the movie. Didn't want to. We talked about several times about turning it off.
Well, see at that point though, you're kind of realizing that hey, this is actually the Corey Cunningham show.
Oh yeah, like I'm just like this is not. Yeah, this is supposed to be about Michael versus Laurie, and so far we haven't seen any hint of that whatsoever.
And do you think that because I've seen that a lot, do you think that just because you've just been a fan of the Halloween series?
It's not just that. I mean, they literally the end of fucking Halloween Kills set it up to be exactly that. I mean, that's how they set it up, in my opinion. And somebody can correct me in the chat if they think I'm wrong, but that's how they set it up, and it didn't happen that
And
way.
honestly, that's a hell of a story. 40 years ago, you watch some of your best friends in life, some of your best high school friends, all these people get fucking killed in one night. And then, years and years and years later, your fucking daughter gets slain by the same man. It's a fucking repeat of what's going on. The next movie, you should be in that headspace where you're like, yeah, sure, he got away, he's somewhere else, but you're fucking tell some other story.
Now,
Not we didn't
granted,
want Corey.
some period of time had passed. I guess it was 3-4 years or something like that had passed. So I get
Yeah.
it, but you lost your daughter. All this crazy shit happens. Like, you were a nutcase at the beginning of 2018 movie, and not that much was different in Halloween Kills. And now all of a sudden you're just a normal lady again. Tim Nicholson does say, I'm glad they took his burn injuries and age into account. So, yeah, I mean, that is one thing we have to consider. Michael Myers is an older Michael Myers in this movie.
No, for sure. And that's one of the things I've always loved about Michael Myers. And that's one of the reasons why whenever people talk about, hey, who do you like? Freddy, Jason, or Michael of the big three, Freddy, Jason, or Michael. I've always said Michael because that is somebody who's real. He's not a zombie. He's not in your dreams. He's a fucking real guy who is mentally unstable, and that could happen in real life. And that's what scares me.
Help me out with something for Michael Myers. Is he a man or is he a supernatural being?
He is just a man. Now in this fucking Halloween Ends, I think that they definitely, and even in Halloween Kills, because he took a fucking beating in
The
Halloween.
entire town took turns beating the shit out of this man. And you're telling me Laurie, spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen Halloween Ends, and you're telling me Laurie just fucking kills Michael by slashing his throat and wrist, and that's it. Meanwhile, the whole town took turns massacring this motherfucker. You're like, I don't see the connection. Like, make it make sense. I mean, he was also caught in a burning house in Halloween, the first movie. I mean, like, he survived a ton of shit. And I'm okay. If he's supernatural, cool. If he's a man, cool. But pick one and stick with it.
Now, I'm gonna have to jog my memory here. In the 2018 film, I think he did get shot a couple times, not too many, and he had a couple.
Not too many.
Now he got a couple fingers chopped off.
The usual person who gets shot usually ends up dying. I think it was a shotgun even or something.
I mean, 50 Cent got shot, what was it, 9 times?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
So,
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, Michael Myers is just...
This guy has seeked out no medical care. He's not gone to a hospital. He's just been sitting in a sewer, rotting. His wounds just, whatever. Maybe they're infected at this point. So if he's a man, he should be dead. Like, he should be dead at this point.
I was watching the movie with my sister, my fiance, with some family, big group of us. We were watching the film, and at some point in the film, somebody did say that they were like, "I think Michael Myers can regenerate his health, after taking damage, and I think that he gains momentum by killing." And
it did actually seem that way, didn't it?
I fucking hate that, though.
It's like he got stronger the more he killed. Like, he saw Corey killing. He's like, he's just like hulking up, brother. I feel it in my veins.
If Michael Myers was my character, if I wrote that motherfucker, he would be a fucking, just a regular man who is, evil and reincarnate for sure. A total evil person.
Tim actually brings up a good point here. He said the psychic connection thing was weird, but I was cool with it. This is where, okay, even Laurie said at the end of Halloween Ends, you're just a man, and clearly they killed him like a man, whatever. I'm okay with that story that he's a man, but now explain to me this psychic, telepathic, whatever connection he has with Corey, where he looks into his eyes momentarily and then suddenly sees pure evil and sees, oh, this is a kid with trouble and trauma, and he's going to be like me. And then at some point they even fucking team up. Well, since when in all the Halloween movies has he ever teamed up with anybody? Now he's like got a buddy. Now he's a little lonely in his old age. He wants a friend.
It just fucking upsets me so much.
But what do you make of that though? He grabs Corey by the throat. They're in the sewer. Yeah. Looks at him in the eye. You see the flashback. So clearly it's trying to communicate that Michael is reading something out of this. How, if he's just a man, how is this happening? Like, make it sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Now, and I get it. Some people, we got somebody in the chat talking about it right now, how they were cool with it. Now, what did you think, Mike? Are you cool with a psychic connection?
Well, I would be if you paint him as a supernatural being. But like my brain can't keep switching back and forth. If you tell me he's a man, then I'm going, okay, I accept he's a man. If you tell me he's supernatural, I'm going to accept that. But you can't bounce around and expect me just to continue following along that train of thought. Like it's not fair, for me to keep doing that.
Well, we all know that the original filmmaker and his son, they're both John Carpenter and his son are a part of the music behind it and all that, and they were the ones who made the movie. Well, John Carpenter exactly. He's the one who created it and all that, and he has his own ideals about what Michael should be, and everything, and he probably did sit down with the director for this trilogy, and they probably bounced ideas off of John Carpenter.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna fucking throw it out there. I don't like a lot of John Carpenter's ideas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not everyone can come up with everything, that's good.
I really wish it was consistent, because right out the gate,
that was the big deal, consistency.
In the very first Halloween movie, Michael was just a fucking guy who killed somebody very early in life, 6, 7 years old. He killed his sister, right? So boom, kills his sister, spends a long time in a mental hospital, breaks out, keeps on killing. He doesn't take that much damage in the movie. He takes, what is it? A curtain, not a curtain. The thing that you hang up your clothes with.
A hanger.
Yeah, hanger. Boom. Fucking he takes one to the eye. He takes one of the things that you're knitting clothes with. Boom. He takes that to the neck. He gets shot a handful of times. That is all that like physically happens to him in the first movie. Why can't we?
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah. Well,
no, but I get it.
But you need to also remember how resilient human beings are. But humans can take a good bit of fucking damage. Some.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also, I go into it knowing it's a horror movie. I'm going to suspend my disbelief a little bit. But it's like you said, it's a consistency thing. Now, before we just continue talking shit on this movie, I feel like we have said a lot of negative things. I would actually like to say some positive things. I think this movie would have been very good as a standalone movie or the start of like a new trilogy or something. Like just some new take. I actually would have been more on board with it because I was just waiting to see the end of the Laurie and Michael thing, which you could say, oh, well, we did see that. Sure. It feels like they made an hour and 20 minutes of one whole movie and then threw in 10 to 15 minutes of Laurie and Michael at the end just to appease people. Like that's what it felt like. Two movies.
We literally watched an independent film that had a Halloween ends.
It happened to have a Halloween end short at the very end,
Yeah.
I just that's what it felt like to me. But let's talk about the positives though. So Corey, we're introduced to this character Corey at the very beginning, and he's babysitting. He seems like the cool babysitter. He's letting the kid watch a scary movie despite the mom not wanting that. And at some point, the kid decides to fuck with him. So, hide and seek or whatever. And this kid, Corey, ends up getting locked in the attic. Was it, or it was either the attic or a closet?
Yeah, I think it was a bigger room. I think it was the attic. Yeah.
Okay. Gets locked in this room, and he's just like, "Oh, come on, kid! Quit messing with me! Quit messing with me! Trying to get out."
You can tell he's like claustrophobic. It's actually
he's panicking.
bothering him deeply.
Yeah. Eventually this guy kicks the door open, and this is actually where it took me by surprise. This kid gets fucking smashed in the face with this door. He goes flying off the staircase, lands in a bad way, and he's dead as a doornail on impact. And it was crazy. That actually
I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike. Whenever that happened, I was just kind of seeing like, okay. Corey seems like a nice guy, nice kid. Okay. Well grounded, responsible kid.
Responsible.
Okay. I like this. Okay. And then whenever that fucking happened, like my eyes got wide as shit. I was like, what the fuck? Like that got me.
It did take me by surprise. And I liked it. I liked the kill. I liked the setup. I did not expect the first kill not to be at the hands of Michael Myers. That was very surprising. But I was there for it. Like I was like, okay, they're starting something. They're starting different. They're doing something different for this movie.
Do you think that it shocks you because it was a child?
Oh yeah. Like that definitely, yeah, you don't expect that. Right. Especially right off the bat. I mean, like they wasted no time just getting started. So at this point you finish watching all of this go down. Are you Travis Dufour? You're into it, right?
Yeah, I mean they've got me hooked. I'm interested to see what happens next. That was a hell of a way to start the film. The mom's reaction to it, and then boom, opening title comes. I really, yeah, off to a good start.
Yeah, not too bad. And then and even some of Corey's development I was into, he had some run-ins with some bullies. That's where we end up seeing Laurie Strode and she meets Corey at this like gas station convenience store and helps Corey get a little revenge, slashing the tires of these bullies.
Well, really quick, who the fucking bullies are band geeks?
Oh yeah, well yeah, I mean yeah, in this movie they were, yeah.
Come on, so 2022.
And also, are you really going to react? It's a movie. I'm not going to get into the details. It's a fucking movie, whatever. So,
I no, Mike, I'm just saying, back in my day, the band geeks were fucking the ones getting bullied.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, but it's 2022 now, so things are different.
I did want to make a mention of one thing. If they would have just put Corey Cunningham in the first movie of the trilogy or the second, even if they would have put him in Halloween Kills, go ahead and fucking introduce us
Planting the
to him.
seed, right? Like planting some kind of seed. Like, hey, here's this character.
Yeah,
He may
yeah.
be important down the road.
Go ahead and put him in. I think that would have changed everything.
I agree. It definitely was random. What did you think of Lori? She took a liking to Corey right away. She
She did.
felt maybe felt bad for him with the trauma he was experiencing. She ends up trying to set him up with her granddaughter. What did you think
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, I mean, she's putting over all Corey. She's like, he's cute, he's this and that. Like, you know, you
But then
deserve a nice boy.
like a half hour later in the movie, she's like, he's pure evil. Like
Like,
I see the evil in those eyes.
she's like, I'm feeling bad vibes. I'm like, bitch, what?
I thought
Why
you just
didn't
liked
you?
this motherfucker.
Like, I guess you're not as, I guess she's losing her steps, I think, because, she's having a great time in this movie. She's also not fucking realizing that this dude's also evil reincarnate.
In all fairness, Corey was being pushed and pushed and pushed. Um, Several run-ins with the bullies and with the band geeks.
Now, what do you
And
think of Corey's acting, man?
I thought he was pretty solid. I personally am not gonna knock anything that he did. How about you? Did you?
Well, do you think he's a fucking idiot? Do you think that he walked into the writing room and they were like, yeah, Corey, or his real name, I got my cheat sheet here, Rowan Campbell. They were like, Rowan, this movie's actually fucking like, it's you, dude. Like, this
Did
is
you?
you.
That'd be pretty shocking. He's like, Halloween Ends is not Michael Myers. It's you, dude.
Dude, I wouldn't agree to it. His career, do you think this is going
Because
to fuck up
people,
his career?
I don't know, because they're like, it seems half and half. It seems like half the people love this movie and half the people hate it. I think if like everyone hated it, maybe. It's got to be more than half that hates it. I
No,
feel like
what Jar Jar Binks was to Star Wars, this is what Corey Cunningham
no,
is
because
to
Jar Jar
Halloween.
Binks, you haven't even seen that movie yet. Um, I don't think that's a fair comparison. I actually thought he acted. I think he played his role well.
Yeah.
I just think that the role should not have been in this movie necessarily.
There were definitely moments in Halloween Ends where I looked at Corey Cunningham and I was like, yeah, I see like that darkness. I think that this scene is really good. He definitely seems like a dark fucking sadistic character.
But his development was realistic, right? I mean, if you're pushed that far, bullies fucking throwing you over a bridge and shit like that, like you're gonna get eventually pushed to your limits.
And his mom was a weirdo too.
Yeah, mom treated him like shit. He seemed
Kissing
to
him
have an
on the
uncle.
lips.
Was it that his uncle or his dad that was
That's
treating him
also,
well?
yeah, me and my group, we were asking the same thing.
I thought it was his uncle at one point, but I don't know. I'm still confused on that.
Yeah, well, we even thought maybe boyfriend. You don't think boyfriend?
Oh, could be, yeah, boyfriend, yeah, for sure. Either way, he seemed like he took a liking to Corey and was actually nice to him, which is surprising for a movie. Usually, the stepdad is the one that's a total dick. In this one, it was the mom. I kind of like that reversal.
Yeah, me too. Come to think of it.
See, we're saying positive things. I feel really good saying positive things about this movie.
I just think that Corey Cunningham, Rowan Campbell, he's gonna have a tough shake. I'm actually very intrigued to see what his next movie is. I don't even know if he's been in another movie. I wouldn't mind maybe diving into some of his first films if, because they kind of seem like they did the Star Wars route. They hired a bunch of no-name actors with maybe the one or two, because Jamie Lee Curtis is the big star. She's going to sell this film no matter what. Go ahead and give this Rowan Campbell a shot at being a movie star. But no, I would like to be in his head right now. Do you think he's on Google looking up reviews?
I mean, how could you not? Like somebody like that. I mean, I would be personally if this was like my first big movie. I'm assuming it's his first big movie. I don't know because I've never seen him in anything, but I would be. And you just see all these people like, fuck this movie, worst movie ever. Not just worst Halloween. I've seen people say worst movie ever. Like, and that's a stretch. It's not the worst movie ever, but um, there's plenty worse than that. But another thing that they could have done to prepare the audience though for this movie is if you remember the trailers for this movie didn't mention this Corey character at all, didn't show his face once. All they showed was Michael and Laurie going at it, which happened just to be the last 10 fucking minutes of the movie. So they basically just showed the ending of the movie in the trailer. And that's all the trailer was. Like there was no build up. If you had prepared me in some way to expect this, I feel like I would have been more ready for it.
Yeah. And if we can just pull a Joe Rogan here, can you go ahead and look up how much Halloween Ends got at the box office? Because brother,
They actually
I
got
think
quite a
they
bit.
made their money.
Oh, that's the sad. I wish they hadn't, but they had.
That's the sad part.
That's the sad part is they made their fucking money with this thing. Yeah,
This piece
Halloween
of shit.
Ends open to number one, making $41 million for their opening weekend. 41.25 million. Jesus.
In the age of streaming, that's fucking big.
It says the movie had a soft, because they opened it streaming and in theaters same day. But the movie had a softer start than expected. Projections were closer to 50 to 55 million. So it's a little under what they projected, but still impressive since it was on Peacock, as you also said.
So since it took you a couple days, so like it came out on a Thursday, I saw it on a Sunday. Was it hard for you to avoid spoilers, or were you staying off Facebook, or?
I wasn't staying on face. It was hard to avoid, yeah, because I would see. I'm pretty good now. Like I know whenever I see like Michael Myers' face, I'm like, nope, keep scrolling. I just like, or somebody starts to say this movie. Like I saw anything about the movie, I'd keep scrolling. So I did pretty good at avoiding it. But I think if I had waited any longer, I probably would have been spoiled at some point.
I really respect my friends a lot. I saw a good bit of people talking about it. They were all saying, "Oh, that's the fucking worst movie I've ever seen," but they weren't like going into it or nothing. There was a lot of people saying, "Hey, spoiler-free review. Halloween Ends was the shits."
Was the shit. Yeah, Glenn gave a non-spoiler review too, and his said something like, "Oh, just go in with an open mind, but it's really good. They tried something different, and it was really good." And I was like, "Okay, cool. They're doing something different." Like
So
I was
real
more
quick
excited.
here for anybody who doesn't know who we're talking about here, this is a longtime friend of ours who also is a filmmaker, and sometimes we like to talk to him about like
Filmmaker,
the new movie.
podcaster,
And
yeah.
he's a horror movie fanatic, and he said that this was a good movie.
And he's actually doing. I'm gonna plug his podcast. He has a podcast called Pod of Horror, and
Yeah.
he's going to be reviewing Halloween Ends. So if you enjoyed Halloween Ends and you want to check that out at some point, go on. Twitch. Go on Twitch and check that out. It's not tonight, but
Yeah, if you want somebody to play devil's advocate, go ahead and watch that show.
And and I do want to listen. I do want to watch it because I want to know from his perspective, why does he think it's good? Maybe I just didn't watch it hard enough. I don't know. I just, from my perspective, it was not. But that's the great thing about movies. Everyone can have their own opinion on it.
Yes, change our fucking minds, Glenn, the filmmaker.
Change my mind. You know what though? He liked Season of the Witch, which I'd also like to get into talking about now. Is he enjoyed Season of the Witch, which would explain why he enjoyed this. Because even if this movie had no Michael Myers, I think he still would have liked it.
And there's a couple Easter eggs too. From what I was reading, the opening to Season of the Witch, the color of the font on the opening credits for Season of the Witch is the same as Halloween Ends. So I think that this was kind of a homage.
Not just the color was the same font too, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Same
Yeah.
slanted looking font. Pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
A
and
nice
I think
throwback to that. I like
well, this was
throwbacks.
another fucking circumstance that I think John Carpenter was sitting in the fucking room with the writers and being like, "Guys, it's the 3rd movie. Can we fucking just make
Let's
it
just do
about
it
this Corey
again.
Cunningham guy?" I'm like,
He's like, guys, we did it once. Let's do it again.
"Yeah, history
Dude.
repeats itself."
No, it did. It did. I'd argue this one was better than Season of the Witch, though. At least this one had Michael Myers in it.
I'm gonna have to break down and just fucking watch Season of the Witch one day.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched it in full, to be honest. Because I think I did start watching it, and at some point midway through, I'm like, oh, why isn't Michael Myers in this? And then someone said, oh, well, he's not. I'm like, oh, well, I just turned it right off. Like,
Let me tell
pass.
you this, Mike.
Easy pass.
Let me tell you this. About halfway through Halloween Ends, I was realizing, like you, where it was going. And I was kind of realizing, okay, this isn't about Myers.
Can
Okay.
you give me a point in the movie where you were lost?
No, I was never lost.
Okay.
I totally got it. I saw what they were doing about halfway through. But then I decided, okay, this is not going to be something I like unless one thing happens. Michael Myers needs to fucking kill Laurie Strode.
Yes. Yes, I wanted that. What I wanted was I was okay with Michael Myers dying, but I wanted him to also kill Laurie and then she dies on top of him. How fucking poetic would that have been?
Have them both die, but
Yeah.
I wanted Laurie to die.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There at some point you should have the main killer. It's okay to kill off the main character. You can do it, folks. It's possible. I think that ending would have actually made me like this movie a lot more. Even though I was still not on board with a whole bunch of other shit, I would still have liked it a lot more.
Yeah. And she said it on Kimmel. She said it on all these interviews. Like, this is the last Halloween movie I'm doing. This is it for me. This is it for me. Why don't
I
you
believe
fucking
that.
die then?
Yeah, I know. If it really is just, and I think what a way to go out. Like both of you. I mean, do you like that if they both went out? Like,
there's a big piece of me, Mike, that would be so happy if Michael walked away.
Well, they did show the mask at the end, so there's a chance Michael or Laurie had the mask in her writer's room as she was typing the end to her book or whatever.
Now that's her fucking trophy.
That's her trophy, but they made a point to show it in the shot, so I think they were like, hey, you never know. You never know.
And, right here's another thing. Right here's another thing for the live viewers. For the live viewers, let me show you something. Anybody who listens to this as a podcast, this is also a video podcast. It's available on YouTube. I'm about to show the fucking world something I am totally selling at this point.
Oh, here we go.
Here
Funko Pop.
Here it is.
Oh no, you can't sell. Oh no, you can't sell your Chase. Glow in the dark Chase.
That bad boy goes for $640 on eBay.
Jesus,
today.
sell that shit.
No, but I need to do it quick because it's gonna fucking go down. And
oh yeah, well, I don't know. It might go down a little bit. It might go down a little bit. Yeah, people shitting on the movie. But Michael Myers. Here's the thing: even if the movie is bad, which a lot of people say it is, Michael Myers as a franchise is alive and well. People will always want to see more Michael Myers. He's a horror icon. So
for sure. One of the things that really makes me sad, I honestly felt it in my heart, like my soul. Once I saw the credits roll, once I heard Blue Oyster Cult's "Don't Fear the Reaper," once I heard that all play, and I felt that nostalgia, and that's a song that was in the first movie and all this stuff, and I felt it in my soul. I was like, man, this is our goodbye to Michael Myers for a long time. They're not going to make another movie for a long time.
It'll probably be 5 to 10 years, maybe.
Yeah, that's
not that long.
My 40s.
Yeah, that is true. That.
Fuck.
That is actually, when you put it in that perspective, it is longer than it sounds.
God damn. But what a way to say goodbye.
So I want to go to the point that really lost me. There was 2 points. I don't even know which happened first. So I'll just say,
what really pissed you off?
When I was fine with the buildup of Corey and him, totally believable. If you're getting pushed to the edge, you got bullies, you got your fucking bitch of a mom pushing you. Totally understandable how you could cross that line and be like, fuck these people. I'm gonna burn it all down, as he said at one point in the movie. What lost me was when he went to the sewer the second time after he had already survived Michael Myers. The second time, puts up some type of a fight. Oh, this happened afterwards, but he puts up a fight with Michael Myers. They get into a little bit of a scuffle, pushing each other like like on the basketball court, just pushing each other. And then he steals his fucking mask pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. I mean, without much of a fight. Michael Myers looked like a total bitch in the sewer.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
No,
Prove me wrong. Okay.
No, he did. Yeah, and you got to see that old man's face, Hey, real quick, you got to give it up to James Jude Courtney. First 2 movies, he's a good fucking Myers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not his fault in this movie either. He was just given a shitty script.
Yeah.
So
you didn't like that, the old push of the fight for the mask, huh?
It just felt so quick. It's like the writers at some point said, "Oh, we need to give this kid the mask." I mean, that's the next progression. Like, well, how do we do that? I don't know. Just give it to him. I mean, it just like it was almost like no real thought was put into it because he got it too easy. Like,
Would you have rather?
It's Michael fucking Myers, and yeah, you could say
Right.
he's old or whatever, but still.
Would you have rather had them do the look eye to eye psychic moment, and then that's when Michael takes the shit off and just hands it to him? Would you?
I would have fucking preferred that over you trying to make me believe that they got into a little backyard scuffle and he just takes the fucking mask.
They really it did.
It was like a bully stealing a kid's lunch money, in the cafeteria, is what it was.
Yeah, it looks like the uncle had too much to drink, and now you're kind of fighting him to get him to go home. Yeah,
and the uncle didn't put up much of a fight because he's like, "Well, that's my nephew, so
yeah,
I can't kill my nephew."
Yeah.
So I'll talk about the other. That was the first thing that really lost me. In fact, my fiance and I, we looked at each other and said out loud, "This is fucking stupid." Like, we both said that out loud, and we were just like, she's like, "Why are you making me watch this?" She's like, "This is not a good movie." Like, and she never says that about any movie. We always finish movies, and we finished this one too. But okay, the other moment that totally got me disconnected is when Michael Myers went and not Michael Myers, when Corey went and killed someone. I don't even fucking remember. But then Michael Myers is in the house killing. They're fucking teaming up to kill people at this point. And I was just like, what? Like, they're teaming up? Like, since when does Michael have a buddy? So, what was your thought on this whole thing?
Well, they teamed up to kill, because he's going after Laurie Strode's granddaughter.
Yeah.
They killed the doctor, because Laurie Strode's granddaughter is like a nurse of some kind. And that, it was that piece of shit doctor that always talks down to her and stuff. And Corey even says, he's like, he shouldn't fucking talk to you like that. Don't let him talk to you like that. Stand up for yourself. And then that was the first person he kind of went for.
But did he deserve to die? I mean, yeah, he was a piece of
shit.
Shit. Oh, for sure. Okay, cool.
For sure. He was a piece of shit.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the girl was a money dig, a gold digger, a money digger, if you will.
Sure.
And she just got caught in the crosshairs there.
No, I understand that. Okay, fine. They both deserve to die. Whatever. Yeah. You were okay with this team up thing?
Well, the only thing I didn't really like about it is that Corey, for being this evil guy, and he kind of seemed like an intelligent kid, intelligent enough. He's a fucking idiot. Like he got his arm slammed into the sliding door at one point. Like he couldn't catch her.
And Michael Myers was having no issue with his half.
That was a good Myers moment because they did the throwback, from Halloween 1, the very first film. He picks her up and then stabs her through the door there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I really like that a lot. Yeah, feet dangling and shit.
You got your callbacks.
You know what I did like though about the team up thing? It wasn't actually that they were teaming up, but I liked that and I wish they would have just kept this route. I like that Corey found his own mask. Like, I wish they would have just kept that going where he just continued to use his own mask to mimic Michael Myers rather than actually steal Michael Myers' mask.
This movie was such a piece of shit. Do you remember what the mask was?
It was like was it like a clown or something? I don't know. I don't even remember. It was just
I
like
don't think it
some
was a clown
it was
because
some
that's
cheap
the
ass
mask.
mask.
If it was a clown, that'd be too close to Myers because that was Myers' first mask, was that clown mask.
That's why I thought it was a clown as like a throwback. It was like a variation. That's why I thought it was, but
I think
I
I
don't
would have
remember.
remembered that if they did that, though. I don't think it was.
Well, I'm trying to forget about this entire movie, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But
Yeah.
so I'm trying to block as much as I can out of my memory. But yeah, I would have thought that was cooler if he had just kept using his mask, because then you wouldn't have had that stupid scuffle in the sewer where he steals the mask, and that would have corrected that at least for me. Yeah,
One of my okay, let me go. I'll say some nice things.
yeah. I'll say I like that we're trying to make a point now, guys. We're gonna say something nice now.
Okay, here goes. Here goes. So the band geeks.
Yeah,
I believe they were pretty good bullies.
yeah,
I think that the main guy who was talking, there's that other kid with the mullet who was kind of being the real piece of shit, like the muscle. I thought they were very good bullies. So whenever it came time for Corey to corner them in the scrapyard there, I felt like that was very satisfying to see
yeah.
the bullies get
I
murdered.
actually enjoyed pretty much all of that. I'm going to talk about one thing I didn't enjoy in a second, but I'm going to talk. Yeah, or do you have more to say about that?
No, I
Okay,
just hey,
okay.
if we're going on a positive note, I just want to say I loved it.
And me too. I loved it. Now,
Good,
here's what
good.
I
5
hated.
stars.
No, no, and the kills were cool. I love when Corey got in the truck and ran over that fence, pinning that girl under the fence. That was pretty cool. He fucking takes a blowtorch to the main bully's face, and
Yeah.
you see like kind of like it's kind of like out of focus, but you just see his face like catching fire and
Yeah, and I
burning.
thought it was weird because whenever he put the flame up to his face, like he went at like his mouth was already open, he just put it right in.
Yep, yep, no hesitation whatsoever. This guy got his revenge, and he got it good. No, I was on board with all this. Unfortunately, the uncle, the nice fucking uncle or boyfriend or whatever the fuck he was, he died um, in this mess because the bullies ended up killing him by accident.
And you know what? And I thought that was fucking lazy because they just did that kill and having somebody else shoot somebody else in Halloween Kills, whenever the officers are in the old Myers house and then, they finally find Myers. Well, Myers finds one of them. There's that struggle. Then the police officer accidentally shoots the other police officer. Now, in this movie, you got fucking two people trying to survive Michael and one accidentally shoots the other one. It's like, I just thought that was lazy.
Yeah, it was, but I'll still say overall they did a nice job with all that whole sequence, and there was a lot to like about Corey's character. As I said earlier, if this was its own movie about Corey and nothing else, like I would be on board, but just not at the end of this trilogy. But the one negative thing I'll say about that whole um, scene, and I expect in a horror movie you're going to have your corny lines. I guess that's just a part of the franchise. You got to expect it. But this girl who's pinned down by the fence, somebody says something to her. Oh no, he's like, oh, where's this girl? Oh, she's dead. And then she just looks at him, and you're dead too.
Yeah.
Like, this is your fucking friend. Is that really how you'd be like, oh my God, look out? Like, wouldn't you say something more realistic? Like, turn around, Billy. Like,
You still have a chance. Maybe that.
yeah, like, but like, and you're dead too. Like, what? What? Like that took me out of it for a brief moment because I'm just like, that is not something you would say. Your fucking friend is about to get murdered. I feel like you could say a dozen other things first. And
And
you're
you got to
dead
think
too.
like these
And her
guys
delivery also sucked of that line.
these four characters, they run the streets every day with each other. They're best friends. They're in
Oh
the
yeah.
band together. It's like you'd think that they were better friends with each other.
She's like, oh, you're dead too. He like I just
You
like
don't stand a goddamn chance.
if she had said anything, he could have been like, oh, what? And maybe run out of the way or something like that. But nope, he's fucked because of
Talking
her.
about stupid deaths, what'd you think about the radio DJ's death?
Radio. How did he die again? Do you remember?
Well, if you remember,
Didn't he get like his head smashed into his record player or something? Or
yeah, and then like a piece of his fucking head was, I think it was
I
his
think it was
ear.
his tongue or
It was
something.
his tongue. It was his
Yeah,
tongue.
that was his tongue. Yeah, that's. And then they showed the teens or whatever or somebody listening to the radio afterwards, and it was like making the weird noise because of the tongue.
Yeah, that was funny. That made us chuckle.
I like that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I love watching a Michael Myers movie where I get a chance to laugh, laugh a little.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't mind a good laugh during Halloween?
It's just here. Okay, and this is a point I want to make before I lose it. We're talking about fucking gruesome kills. We're talking about some nasty fucking special effect kills. These are looking beautiful. But I want to make it clear, as a lifelong Halloween franchise fucking fan through and through, love Michael Myers. I've loved Michael Myers since I was a kid. What hooked me from the beginning is not the fucking kills. It's the psychology behind it. It's real
Suspense,
fear,
right?
suspense, the drama, the building and the building. The Halloween one is a classic because they build and build and build to a fucking huge climax.
I didn't feel that.
I just don't care about these kills, man.
Yeah. And that's all it seemed like they were, is like, let's just try to do some over the top kills. I don't feel like anything, to your point, was suspenseful. Like, oh, we're really building up to this big thing. And like I said, that whole Laurie and Michael Myers battle at the end, really, to me, there might be people who disagree, and that's perfectly fine. But to me, it felt thrown in like a last minute addition. Like, oh, fuck, I forgot this movie was about Michael and Laurie. And that's where it kind of just made it weird, because there was no like intense buildup. Like, there should have been some moment of like Michael, stalking Laurie and Laurie catching a glimpse of him or something, and getting that fear back again. But there was none of that.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I would have been down.
I mean, there was that cool moment when she looked outside and Corey was like standing. Why was Corey even standing like that? Like, was he just trying to be Michael Myers at that point? He's just like, I'm going to stand here and act all menacing. Like,
yeah. And then
what
she
was the
goes
point of
outside, like, where the fuck did he go? And he's standing right behind her.
Literally, how did he even stand right behind her? Like, she would have seen him, but whatever. It's a fucking movie. I get it. It's a movie. I just, there could have been a lot of things to build up to the end, and I felt like it was missing.
Yeah. And the dynamic of, so I don't know if we talked about this, but the granddaughter falling in love with him, and they go to that. No, we haven't talked
So
about
she
this.
likes bad boys.
Well, yeah, they go to the bar and they're having this fucking great time. Corey's trying to dance. He don't usually dance ever since he killed that kid, but now he's like, you know what? Maybe I can fucking let go of this trauma, let my hair down. This girl, she likes me, and
But he runs into that mom at the bar. She's like, "How can you have fun? You're just out here dancing, and I can't fucking forget about this. I can't sleep."
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was another well done scene. Just because they made me feel it right at the beginning.
Yeah. No, I like that. There's no issue there. So this granddaughter, though, she was definitely into bad boys, because she saw he was definitely a little off his rocker. I mean,
no, Mike. Let's backtrack here.
Let's backtrack.
Is she really into bad boys? Because she was dating that police officer.
Yeah, well, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah, but he's going after the bad boys, isn't he?
Yeah, well, supposedly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you just said he deserved to die a little while ago. Also. Oh no, it was the doctor you said deserved to die.
No, this police officer was a piece of shit too.
Oh, he also deserved it. Okay, cool.
What a good actor though. Officer Mulaney, it was his name. And that little confrontation they had at the Waffle House, it looked like a Waffle House, where he's like, hey, you haven't fucking answered my calls. Maybe we could get together a little bit later, have a coffee.
This guy needs to take a hint,
I thought that was well done. He definitely came across as a dickhead that we'd love to see killed.
As a dick, Jesus. Yeah, sure.
And then Corey gets him to, traps and baits him into.
He does. He sets a trap for that guy. Yeah. So this guy, like, he made a decision. I'm killing that's one thing to kill somebody, to kill a DJ, kill a doctor, but you're gonna kill a cop now. Like, there's no going back from that. That's 5 stars in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, it is.
You ain't getting out of that without some cheat codes.
So you're down with that little part of the story? The ex-boyfriend dickhead gets killed? Thought you
Yeah, I
thought
mean,
it
I thought
added?
it was actually pretty cool how he trapped him there because didn't he led him to Michael Myers, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So maybe Myers got some juice from that kill.
Michael, yeah, he's like, oh, I'm leveling up, just like on SmackDown versus Raw. He got a finisher. Like he's stacking finishers in his fucking system. He's ready to go. He's
Just so
juicing up, brother.
goofy.
But like, so maybe that was when he was just like, hey, this Corey kid, he's got some spunk. I mean, he's got some potential. He's bringing me some fucking fresh meat.
As often as they have liked to make Myers look stupid, and not even just this movie, but the previous movie and the first one, whenever at the end of Halloween 2018, whenever the daughter is like, I can't do it, I just can't fucking shoot him, and that baits him to stand in the doorway, then that's when she shoots him. They've been making him look stupid for a while now, so it kind of makes sense that he's getting fucking duped by Corey.
Yeah. But he looked kind of smart in this movie for some of it, at least, because it felt like he was, yeah. It felt like at some point he was using Corey to maybe get closer to Lori.
Yeah, let me. I didn't mean that he was getting duped by Corey. Maybe that was a bad sentence right there. But let's talk about. Let's just go ahead and talk about the end. We don't have to make this the longest review ever because I want to talk about some other things Halloween wise. But let's talk about the end here. Corey and Michael. They're now in Laurie's house, correct? There at the end. Let's just backtrack a little bit before there. So Laurie is showing that she can outsmart Michael. She can lure him in, so she pretends to commit suicide.
Yeah.
What did you think
Yeah.
about that?
So this was weird. And this is also where my fiance and I were looking at each other and we said, this is fucking dumb. Lori somehow knew that Corey was in the house. I don't know how she knew this information, but like she knew that he was in the house because she grabbed the gun. She set up that call to make it seem like she was going to kill herself. Which leading up to this point, we're just like, wait, why is she going to fucking kill herself? Like this is just going off the fucking rails here. But then I understood she was just setting up Corey. It was just a kind of a stretch. Like, how did you know Corey was in the house? Number one, you know. Number two, what I didn't like is, did she actually shoot him? She shot him once or twice, didn't she? Or did she not actually make contact? I don't remember.
I feel like she did shoot him, and then she
got rid of the rest of her fucking bullets.
She did. She like clicked the gun a couple times to show that she had no more bullets.
And then she was just like, go on, do it. Do what you came here to do. So she wanted him to kill her. And then right as I think that that's literally what's going to happen, because now she has no self-defense weapon whatsoever, and he's got the fucking big-ass knife. And then out of the blue, he just stabs himself right through the neck with this knife. Out of nowhere.
Yeah. And he had just said, very close to the scene, he was like, if I can't have Allison, the granddaughter, if I can't have her, nobody can. It's like, why the fuck do you stab yourself?
Couldn't you have just fucking killed Lori and then you could have had the granddaughter? Like, I don't understand. Like,
and it's like,
that takes a lot of effort and strength to stab yourself that deep with a knife.
I've always wondered about that. I would definitely think that you'd have to like hold the knife to yourself, jump up in the air, and just kind of like do a splash onto the ground. If you want,
he was ready. He didn't even count 1, 2, 3, nothing. He just fucking did it.
He just did it.
Do you think he had a moment where after he stabbed himself, he's like, "Fuck, that wasn't the smartest thing." Like,
no, but that's what I'm thinking though. Whenever I saw that happen, I was like, was it his ultimate goal to get Michael to just have this big confrontation with this woman? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, why would he? Because he wants the granddaughter,
right?
Supposedly.
But is that the goal, or do you want Michael to have a confrontation with Lori? Like,
and if that was the goal, why did he steal Michael's mask if they're supposedly partners? So it couldn't have been for that reason, because he wouldn't have like fucking hijacked the mask and shit.
Yeah, we saw a ton of effort for nothing.
Yeah, I was totally lost at this point. I was so lost, and I was like, I have no idea what the fuck is happening anymore, and I don't like it. Like, I do not like it. Anyway, this dude. This giant fucking knife, it's a huge knife. It's not a small knife. he stabs himself in the throat miraculously. Miraculous. I can't even say the fucking word. By some miracle, he stays alive long enough to have one final encounter with Michael Myers. You'd think you would be dead pretty quick after stabbing you. I think you would die pretty quick, right? Stabbing yourself in the throat.
100%.
100. Especially as deep. He stuck that whole fucking thing in there. That wasn't a prick. That was a whole knife in his throat.
Yeah,
But
and
he was able to actually put up a resistance with Michael for a moment.
yeah, and then Michael, being his former partner in crime, short-lived for sure.
Yeah.
But former partner in crime, Michael just fucking kills him.
Snaps his neck.
I was like, well,
So did you think there was a potential that Corey might survive this movie?
I was fucking praying not. That I guess that
You were
became a
praying
big
not?
hope for me. I was like, I want Lori to die, and I want Corey to die.
Yeah. Well, you got your wish at least with Corey then.
1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Yeah. 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
So fucking
I was just so disappointed. And like, so yeah, that whole team up thing was for nothing because Michael was like, "Oh, this kid had so much potential," like, but he couldn't follow through.
well, Michael probably saw him stab himself, and he was like, "Ah, Corey, fuck, you were."
He's
doing
like,
so
"Corey,
good
what the
before that."
fuck are you doing, bro? No, that is not how this works."
He's
Like, "Well,
looking
I
at
guess
his
I better
playbook,
finish
he's
the
like,
job."
Stab yourself, stab yourself." That's not in my playbook, dude.
He's
why
like
did
looking through the window. He's like, "Oh, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna fucking kill Lori before I do? Yeah, kill her." And then he just stabs himself. He's like, "What? What the fuck?" Like he's probably just shocked as hell.
Because Corey, if you would have just killed her, I could go back on the street, get a couple more kills. Fuck. But
He's probably like, "Bro, what was your game plan here?" But anyway, after this, after I don't even know what point in the movie we're in, an hour and 25 minutes, God only knows. Then we finally get to what the fucking point of the movie should have been from minute 1, Lori versus Michael.
that's what the people paid to see.
That's what we paid to see. That's what the trailer said we were going to see. We had to watch some other indie film before we got to this point, before we got to the real Halloween Ends.
They do a tease with the garbage disposal there. What do you think about that?
Real quick, I actually did forget something about the only cool part about Corey killing himself was I like how he said, "Now no one can have her." He set it up to make Lori look like the monster who killed him. That was a little intriguing.
That was well played. I thought that was good.
And then Lori realized because she had the knife in her hand at this point, she's like, "Oh fuck, fuck, fuck!" Like she did look like the monster, like, which is what her granddaughter was saying. Basically, was that you're the monster.
And Allison's like, "Fuck, this is what I thought was happening."
So I actually did like that setup. But yeah, the garbage disposal was pretty cool. There was actually they did something with the garbage disposal on Halloween. Was it H2O?
H2O, correct.
Yeah, H2O. There was a garbage disposal. So was that like a callback to that? That's how I took that?
I guess.
I guess. They did a CGI mask in that movie. I didn't realize that until just recently. A CGI Michael Myers mask.
Yeah, and it looks like shit. What now? And you know what? I never even noticed that when I originally watched that movie whenever it first came out. But once I saw that, I can't unsee it now. Anytime
It's so terrible, so bad. But Lori didn't actually get herself cut though, right? In the garbage disposal.
No, it was a very close call, but no, she ended up doing the old headbutt to the back of her head to
this man that's like twice the size of her.
Yes.
Old age or not, they're both old though. Like she's putting up a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
What did you think of this fight in general? This back and forth.
It was very short. It was
very short.
Too short in the kitchen. Like,
I wish they had had some type of brief fight or moment of interaction earlier in the movie or something. That would have made this more meaningful because this was short.
Yeah. No, for sure. Definitely not what I wanted. And it just kind of it put a bow on it. By the end of this fight scene, she is now pinning each one of his body parts with a different home appliance, and he can't move. And she gets to cutting, and she's fucking. Oh, one of the things too I want to mention is that whenever she met up with Corey in his house, where he was it in the house that he killed that kid in? Did she meet him up there?
Yeah, he went back to the house. Yeah.
Yeah. I fucking hated that scene because she was sitting there and she was like giving us a monologue about how what evil does and evil this and evil that. Like, I'm Laurie Strode, the final girl, and
The
I'm the most
final.
iconic. Like, you might have came here to see Michael, but I'm the fucking star. And I hated that shit.
Yeah, that was annoying. I
I
didn't
was
like
like,
that
please,
scene either.
please die by the end of this, please.
Well, you didn't get your wish. I thought we were when she was getting choked out. I'm like, yes, yes. Succumb to the injuries. Like, pass out. Take
But
your final breath.
I think that one of the big things in her legacy is that she wants to go down in history as the number one final girl, and this is gonna do it for her, I
I
guess.
guess. I don't know. I feel like people. I mean, if you look at IMDb or any of the movie rating sites, I guess all the Halloween movies are kind of hit and miss with people. Half people love them, half people hate them, type of thing. So I guess this is no different. But it just seemed like there was a lot of hate for this one, like more than usual.
Oh, so you actually looked up the IMDb rating and all that?
Yeah, IMDb was 5.0. It's 37 or 39, I forget, 37 or 39% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
Rice, that's low.
Yeah, it's got like a 47 on Metascore. And yeah, so and critics are trashing it too. So it's not getting rave reviews.
So we saved the best for last. After they kill this motherfucker, they strap him to the hood, to the top of a car.
They're like parading him around town like he's dead, the Wicked Witch is dead.
People are coming outside like, oh, fuck yeah.
Finally, I've been waiting for decades for this.
Like, and did you see that? People had streamers, little poppers and stuff you see on 4th of July.
Yeah, I did like the one thing when I think it was the sheriff or somebody, a cop or someone, said like, "Oh, this isn't the way we do it." Oh, it is tonight. It is tonight. Like,
Are you talking about the guy in the cowboy hat, the sheriff?
yeah, I think it was the sheriff. Yeah, because they were just like, "Oh, this isn't usually how we do these things." Oh, it is tonight. We're fucking killing this motherfucker,
I
making sure he's
fucking
dead.
hate that character too with the big ass cowboy hat, and he's like, oh
You
my
hate that guy.
God. Yeah, no, he just looks like a piece of shit. I wish he would have died.
Do you think it is reasonable or not reasonable, acceptable that Michael Myers died after all the brutal shit that he's taken over the years? Gunshots. What did you say? A hanger to the eye.
Yeah,
Burned
yeah.
alive. He got trapped in the house burning. Town took weapons and beat the holy fuck out of this man. I mean, I thought he was dead then. And then it just slit throat and slit wrists to finish him off. Do you feel like that was too easy?
I mean, I wonder how hard that was for everybody to sit down and be like, okay, finalized. This is how he dies. Tie him down by the home appliances, slit his wrists, slit his throat, and then just to fucking have it be the end all be all, strap him to the car, take him to the wood chipper,
Dude,
and
I'll admit the wood chipper part, pretty cool.
it was like that was the part I wanted to cry the most because I was like, wow, they really have killed Michael Myers.
In this, but he's gonna hopefully be back. The franchise will live on.
Hopefully whenever it lives on, whenever if it gets rebooted here 10, 15, 20 years, hopefully they have Laurie Strode in the movie, but she
Oh, you think
fucking
so?
dies this time.
Do you think? I mean, even played by the same actress? You mean?
No, of course not.
Okay, okay. Do you think?
She
Would you ever want to see a remake of the original movie? Did we actually see that with Rob Zombie's movies? Did he remake it with him killing his sister or no?
Yeah, he did the remake.
Oh, okay. I didn't
And
remember
if
what
I
that
could
was
just
about.
say in Rob Zombie's remake, there's a fucking rape scene.
Jesus.
Yeah.
With Michael raping someone or what?
With with I guess like some security officers, they take advantage of a mentally ill woman, and Michael ends up
Jesus.
killing the security officers. Rob Zombie tried his best to take a big fat shit on the Halloween franchise, and it
Isn't that
almost
the one
ruined
where
it.
they really focused on the young Michael Myers for a while?
Let's give him a backstory. This is why he's fucked up. This is why. No, this is why he's fucking scary. He just does the shit. He's evil.
Yeah.
There's no reason, rhyme or reason. That's what makes him
I'm
scary.
gonna have to rewatch those at some point. I don't remember them pretty much at all, other than it
Don't.
did. Yeah, don't. It's
Just
bad.
just don't. And then Michael Myers is 7 feet fucking tall, 300 pounds of muscle.
Oh yeah, he was fucking jacked. You know what? You know what though? I don't mind that. I love my Michael Myers to be a big bad motherfucker. I just like I like the villain. I want to see the villain succeed in what he's doing.
I mean, I'll admit, so okay, are we done talking about Halloween Ends? Did you want to talk about
I hope
generalities?
so. Actually, I would like to get. Let's talk about final rating.
Okay.
What's your rating out of 10? 10 being best movie you've ever seen, 1 being worst movie you've ever seen. Go.
Just because of my history with the film, how much I love the films, the whole mystique behind Michael Myers, everything that I personally feel of how Michael Myers should be and how the story should be. Yeah, it's a solid one.
Jesus Christ. Honestly, that's not as good as that's not as wow, that's actually took me by surprise. I thought you were going to give it like a 6 or 7. Mine would be 5.
Well,
I'm being realistic because I'm not going to say this movie was a pile of garbage, hated every second. I actually didn't. If this was its own movie in another trilogy, fine. Whatever. But not this trilogy. So like I don't hate the movie
but that
as
being the
is.
case,
But that being the case,
that is
it
the
is
case.
the end. It is the end of the trilogy, so I guess yeah.
So are we still at a 5 then?
I'm going to stand at 5.
Fuck that.
I'm going to stand at 5. I'm going to try to be fair to this movie and say there was enjoyable parts, not many, but there were enjoyable parts. 4. I'm going 4. 4 is my final rating.
You're gonna do 4. Final answer.
I'm doing 4.
Okay.
Mr. Do 4. And you're staying at 1.
Say it again.
You're staying at 1?
No, yeah, that's a solid 1, man.
Is this where does this rank? Like obviously I'm not asking you to rank all the Halloween movies, but what is this the worst Halloween movie you've ever seen? Where does it fall?
We can definitely because one of the things I have in my cheat sheet here is that I do want to talk about our favorite timelines. This isn't okay. This isn't my least favorite timeline. I'll say that.
That's fair.
I think that Halloween Resurrection is definitely a worse movie than this. I think Rob Zombie's movies are also worse than this. But dude, it's fucking a hair right behind them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not too far behind for sure.
I just, dude, how do you fucking in 2018 you beautifully bring
amazing.
back Michael Myers? Rob Zombie tried to fucking hurt this dude's image, but then boom, you involve John Carpenter. You got the music, you got like the fucking return of Michael Myers, and it's beautiful. Well done, great. What?
And even Halloween Kills wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad. I'll accept it. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
But how
and then
do
we
you
got to
fuck
this.
up?
It's like they had the perfect opportunity to actually have a solid, like really good trilogy here, and they said, "You know what? Fuck that! Like, fuck that! Fuck that! We're going season of the witch on these motherfuckers."
I just thought that these guys were like real fans of it and stuff, and seeing the callbacks from the first one in 2018 and Halloween Kills had a lot of nice, really good callbacks.
Oh yeah, and even this movie had some callbacks. But
No,
just,
no, but that's what I don't like. This wasn't a Michael Myers movie. They fucking went totally like crazy with this movie with a whole different story, introducing us to somebody that we don't fucking give two shits about. Great way to give him a backstory at the beginning. Great way to bring him into the fold. But like you said, it should be a standalone movie. Like,
what could have been good? Like you said, the backstory part. If they had brought Corey in, showed this build up of him like turning evil or whatever, he messes with Michael Myers, tries to grab the mask, he fucking murders Corey right then and there, and then goes on his rampage. I feel like then I'd be on board. You end Corey midway through the movie.
In Halloween Ends, and then
Halloween
have like
Ends.
a good
like every
a good 45 minutes of Michael.
45 minutes of Michael chasing Laurie because Michael was like in the sewer, whatever. He's an old man. Things have changed. Obviously his time has gone by. sees this Corey kid. Maybe he sees some potential, and maybe even they do the fucking team up. I'm not going to even take that away from the movie. Maybe they do it. But then Corey tries to get too big for his britches, tries to steal the mask in the scuffle. But instead of Corey succeeding, Michael beats the fuck out of this kid, murders him, and then, like you said, 45 minutes of Michael.
Well, that does make sense. Like, he could have used Corey to refigure out where Laurie Strode is at, because that house burned down. She's in a new house in town.
Yeah.
And he's got to figure out where she lives. Maybe use Corey for that. Then once he finds Laurie halfway through the movie, he kills Corey, and then we can get to the good shit.
Yeah. Yeah. If it was just tweaked somewhat, it could have been really, really good. But it wasn't. So
maybe me and you should make a fan film.
We should just re-edit this and try to like chop out all the shitty shit, if that's even possible.
The shitty shit.
Shitty shit.
We would be editing for so long.
It would be a long edit. But yeah, man, they had the chance to make. I would love to see actually a sit-down interview with the director, the writer, and all that stuff, and just hear why. I would like to sit down with that person and be like, why? Like, why did you do this?
Well, I know one of them is Danny McBride, who is very famous. He's in a lot of comedy movies and stuff like that. Eastbound and Down.
He wrote the first couple as well. He was a part of that as well. So that's what.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What a great start. What the fuck happened, Danny?
Danny, you owe me some explanations.
And I hate to say it, but it's just, I feel like this is another circumstance where they're like, okay, we paid homage to it, but now let's make this our own.
Yeah. That's where they always fuck up, is when they try to make it their own.
Just cater to us fucking longtime fans.
I just want to see Michael Myers be a bad motherfucker and kill Laurie Strode.
This is the problem with WWE. This is the problem with a lot of people hated the Star Wars, the different ways that those went. Like, why don't you just fucking listen to the fans? What do they want and give it to them?
Because they think they know best. That's the problem. They always think they know best.
They do. Okay, so let's talk favorite timelines. Would you like a review of the timelines?
I do. Oh, yeah, you can review them for the people listening. Sure.
Okay. So, as far as timelines go, in this one, you had Halloween 1 from 1978, and then boom, it jumps straight to Halloween 2018. Then you have Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends.
Yep.
Let me talk about my favorite timeline. Halloween 1, Halloween 2. Now, in Halloween 2, they established that Laurie is actually Michael's sister.
And that was not continued with the new trilogy, right? That was not the story?
Correct. Okay. Non-related? Okay. And then Halloween, we skip Halloween 3, standalone movie. Halloween 4, Halloween 5, we are introduced to, now from my understanding for 4, they couldn't get Jamie Lee Curtis to come back into the franchise, so they wrote a new story. This is the daughter of
I think
Laurie
it's because
Strode.
she was actually getting serious roles and she didn't want to come back to the shit.
Correct. Yep, she started killing it, man. Yeah. Doing movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, you name it, she's not coming back to it unless she has to.
Yeah.
That this is actually my favorite timeline. They introduce the daughter, and she is in Halloween 5 as well. So it's kind of like 4 and 5 connect with each other. So it goes 1, 2, 4, 5. Those are the movies I remember watching a lot as a child and as a teenager and being very excited.
Was it a young daughter? Is it the one with the little girl?
Yes.
Oh, then I know which one you're talking about. Okay. I actually like those movies too.
Jamie. Yep.
Yeah, Jamie.
Now in Halloween 5, they kind of introduced that she's got like a psychic ability where she's kind of connected mentally with Michael, and she knows whenever he's about to kill people, and she kind of starts freaking out, and she's, under the care of doctors. And
so that Michael in this timeline was somewhat supernatural then, right? Is that what the story was, or no?
I wouldn't go that far. I like that they still treated him human enough. Nobody really fucked him up that bad. Well, at the end of Halloween 4, he gets shot like 50 times.
That doesn't sound that human to me.
Pistols, shotguns, you name it. And then he falls down into that little escape that ends into the river. And how he survives is he floats down the river and some homeless guy nurses him back to health. So, yeah, and I'm not going to agree with everything, but it is my favorite timeline.
Yeah. It's maybe I'll pick that too. I would pick the new trilogy, like, Halloween 1, then the 2018 movie, and so on and so forth. If Halloween Ends was good, I would pick that one. Because I actually really enjoyed the first two, of this trilogy. I really enjoyed them a lot. And I thought it was some solid storytelling. I thought it was done well, shot well, everything. But I'm gonna have to go with your timeline here for that, because I actually thought those were better stories and more consistently told stories.
And if I could say that probably it probably goes hand in hand. I probably like these just as much. Halloween 1, 2, and H2O go in line with each other. They ignore that she ever had a daughter. In
Really?
H2O,
Halloween's been all over the fucking place.
and I don't mind that, because now, in retrospective, looking back, it's something for everyone.
Yeah, that's
If you
true.
don't like that he had a sister, then watch the new ones. If you like that dynamic, oh, he wants to fucking kill his sister. He killed his other sister when he was 7. He's going for the fucking other one
It makes
now.
sense. You can connect the dots. But when
Yeah.
they introduced the new character, the daughter or whatever, they did it in a way that made sense with the story. They didn't just be like, "Oh, here's Corey. Here's Corey." Like, they did it in a way that made sense with the story. That's
Yeah.
what I liked about it. But anyway, go ahead.
And I remember Halloween H2O was one of the first horror movies I was like allowed to watch. Like a newer horror movie. I'd already seen Halloween 1, 2, and all that, but Halloween H2O hit theaters,
Did you see
and
it in theaters, or did you
I
see it like on VHS?
I actually like that you asked that. No, I didn't see H2O in theaters, but let me just sidebar real quick. We'll come back to Halloween. Let me sidebar for a moment. My mom uh thought that I needed like another male figure in my life, right? Whenever I was a kid. My dad was still alive, still around. I would see him every other weekend, but she just felt like I needed to have like another male role model in my life. And there was a man that she worked with, and he would tell her like, "Oh yeah, I love horror movies." And she's like, "Yeah, my son Travis really loves horror movies." And he was this really cool black guy named Donnell. And she said, she like pulled me off to the side. I was like 12 or 13, maybe even younger, maybe like 11 or 12. And she was like, "Listen, I have a friend I work with. His name's Donnell. And that new movie that's coming to theaters? Do you want to see it?" I was like, "New movie coming to theaters? Oh, she's talking about Jason X." I was like,
Jason X.
yeah, I would love to fucking see that in movie theaters. And
Was
Mike,
Jason X the one? Was Jason in space at some point, or am I remembering
yes,
wrong? Oh, that was
this is the
real.
this is the Jason in space movie.
I can't believe they fucking did that. The balls of these writers.
Never met this guy before, never talked to him before. My mom's at work. He just shows up to the house one day. I knew he was coming. Knocks on the door, I answer it. He's like, "Hey, I'm Donnell.
This is
Let's
your
go see
first
the."
time meeting this guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like this would not fly in 2022. This is not how it goes anymore.
Very weird. Very weird. I mean, nothing happened. We literally went to the movie theater, saw that piece of shit movie, Jason X. Um, and that was the end of it. So not long after, there was another big Halloween franchise movie coming to theaters. And my mom pulls me off to the side and she's like, "Hey, remember Donnell?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I like him enough." And she's like, "Oh, good. Because you're going to the movies again with Donnell."
Was
I
she
was
even
like,
dating this guy?
"No,
Where the fuck was this guy coming into the picture?
just a coworker, man." Um, so bada bing, bada boom.
Interesting.
He strolls
This
by
sounds
the
like the
house.
start of a very bad story.
Oh,
just,
no,
I'm
no,
just letting you
no.
know.
No, Donnell's a good guy.
That's
I
good.
haven't
That's
seen
good.
him since I was a kid. But anyway, he picks me up for another blockbuster film coming to theaters. This time, it's not Jason X. It's Halloween Resurrection.
I don't think I've ever
So,
actually even seen Resurrection.
well, let me just explain in quick form what Halloween Resurrection is. Right out the gate, Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis, gets fucking murdered
Right away.
by Michael.
Not for real though.
Opening scene of the movie, gets killed.
Wow, that's ballsy.
Loved it.
So she did die at some point.
She
So you could
did.
just relive that.
She did. But then after that, we're all in the theater and we're like, oh my fucking God, he killed Laurie Strode.
Dude,
What
fuck
happens
you.
next?
Actually, fuck you. I've never seen this movie, and I hate that I know that now. I feel
This
like
is
that
a
would have been so shocking. Like me just going and be like, "Oh, Lori's in this." I'm like, "Oh, she just dies."
this movie is a piece of shit. So then the storyline is that there's a reality TV show that's going to be putting multiple hidden cameras in the original Michael Myers house
Oh
where
my
he
god,
grew up. And we're going to pick 7, 8, 9 contestants, and they're going to have to
dude,
spend the night in
no.
Michael Myers' house.
Maybe I have fucking seen this movie. This sounds very familiar.
Busta Rhymes is in it.
So they just did not give a fuck about the franchise at this point. They were just doing whatever the hell they wanted to do.
Well, the original, not the original, but the guy who owned it, Mustafa Akkad, he put it in contract. He put it in fucking contract. Michael Myers cannot die, period. And at the end of H2O, Michael Myers, boop, gets his head chopped off. End of the movie. Resurrection, you find out that it wasn't Michael Myers. He grabbed an EMT by the throat, crushed his larynx so he couldn't speak, put his mask on him,
Very
and
elaborate.
Laurie
So
fucking
Michael
killed
was
him immediately.
calculated. He was a calculated dude.
Yeah, he wasn't a dipshit like he is in the newer movies.
Yeah.
A little more calculated.
I like that
But
version of Michael.
a lot of people remember Resurrection for one scene. Busta Rhymes gets in the Michael Myers costume because he's like the guy who creates the show and is the producer of it, and he's there to help set up cameras and get it going and everything. And he puts on the getup to like scare the contestants. But Michael has already been killing a couple people at this point. And so Busta Rhymes is walking through the house and fucking comes face to face with Michael fucking Myers. And Busta thinks that it's one of his crew members who got in a Michael Myers costume.
Yeah.
And he's like, why aren't you in the fucking truck making sure everything's running well? Like, get it through your thick fucking head. I'm Michael Myers. You need to go back to the truck and do your
Jesus.
fucking job.
He's talking to the real Michael Myers, though.
He is. Michael just takes it.
Is this the movie where he says "Happy Halloween, motherfucker"? Is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So you haven't seen it?
I had to have then. I don't know.
It's bad.
The plot that you've just described sounds very familiar. So it had to been one of those movies that I saw one time and it evaporated from my brain.
Yeah, no, that, and you know what? Resurrection, for a lot of people, is the worst Halloween movie ever made.
Yeah. Well, I think I'd still like to watch it just to see for myself. Couldn't be much worse than Halloween Ends, honestly.
Worst Halloween movie ever made is, for me, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2 and Resurrection. They all can.
But if you
all
had
three
to
of them.
pick all three of them, but if you had to just pick one saying this is the worst, which one?
Rob Zombie's original remake Halloween 1.
Wow.
The worst.
The worst. So he came in, you don't think he came in with good intentions?
Just the cursing, man. The cursing got to me. The cursing, the blood and gore, how graphic it was.
Well, I've been
They're
cursing
giving
a lot on
Michael
this
Myers
fucking
a
channel.
backstory. Dude, that's just not, that's the original movie. There was barely any blood, barely any. There was really no curse words, I don't think. And it was like a psychological thriller.
Yeah. So it's just a different kind of kind of movie. You felt like it was not as it was in poor taste.
It was a Rob Zombie movie for sure. You
Yeah.
know, his other movies, 10,000 Corpses and all this other bullshit he's made.
We got a comment from the
Yeah.
chat.
See, I'm actually talking about that now. Yeah. Do I like any of the other ones? Any of the other Rob Zombie movies? I think there was one that I didn't mind when I saw it. It wasn't The House of a Thousand Corpses. It came around at the same time. Are you a Rob Zombie guy? Do you know these movies?
I couldn't name one movie he's done besides Halloween.
I didn't take you for a Rob Zombie guy.
But that doesn't mean I haven't seen. Could you list off a couple that you just listed off one? Was it The Thousand Corpses or whatever the fuck it was?
Yeah,
Never seen
The House
that.
of a Thousand Corpses. I don't think it was that one. There was another one where that guy in the clown makeup, he's like really notorious for being in the Rob Zombie movies. Oh, God.
Not Pennywise, right?
No, I'm speaking about a lot of shit I don't know about.
Well, I'm speaking about. I have no idea what movie you're talking about.
And to be completely fair, I love Rob Zombie's music.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen another Rob Zombie film. So, Mike likes Star Wars, but I don't. I like Rob Zombie films.
That's a comment from the chat here.
You don't. Why doesn't he like Star Wars? Who doesn't like Star Wars?
No, this is actually this is a gentleman. He listened to the whole first season. He's listened to every show since. He gives me feedback every time I see him. He told me that it's gonna be trouble listening to the Star Wars episodes that we've done because he doesn't like it.
So he's actually seen them and doesn't like them?
No, I don't even think he's seen them.
Oh, well, that's like saying, I don't like chocolate ice cream, but I've never had chocolate ice cream.
Well, come on, man. He's me. He's me before I watch these movies. I don't fucking watch that shit.
But you didn't say you didn't like it, right? You just said you weren't watching them or you haven't watched them.
Just to be controversial, I would tell people I didn't like it, and that's why I wouldn't watch it. But I didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Captain Spaulding is who I was thinking of from the Rob Zombie movies.
What about your favorite Halloween? Well, it probably is the original, but what about your favorite Halloween movie out of all of them?
Okay, let me throw a curveball. Halloween 2.
Really? Not the original, not the one that started it all.
I like the sister dynamic. I like the hospital scenes. You've seen Halloween 2?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The only one I haven't seen, I don't think I've seen H2O, and I haven't seen Season of the Witch.
Oh, you have to see H2O. That's a really good one. But Halloween 2, I remember getting Halloween 2 for Christmas one year.
For Christmas as a child?
Yeah, of all things, I got it for Christmas.
Things were way different then. Times have changed.
It's what I asked for, and I got it. And I remember being so scared to just fucking put that VHS tape into the VCR and watch it by myself. I was so scared because that movie fucked with me.
Isn't that a good feeling, though? I remember being terrified of scary movies, of horror movies. And now I watch them like it's nothing. Like I'm sometimes rooting on the killers because I'm just like, oh, yeah, well, he did wrong you, so he should fucking die. Like, but as a kid, like, I didn't think like that. I thought, like, holy shit, people were dying. It was scary. I wish I could relive that.
No, for sure. My mom almost pulled the plug on me with horror movies. I was maybe
going too far.
Well, I was 9 or 10, and I watched a horror movie about, like, I think it was a washing machine that sucks in people and kills them. And
sounds riveting.
Well, yeah. And I remember watching this scene where this girl was like frantically, like her arms started getting caught in the washing machine and her body slowly started getting sucked in, and she was like screaming bloody murder. And I just started crying because I was like, fuck, somebody like, why am I watching this? Like, this is fucked up. And my mom was like, yeah, we're gonna cool it on the horror movies, I think.
Yeah, I don't think my mom ever said to cool it on the horror movies. I wish she would have, because we just watched. It's not that she just was busy working, so like we just watched whatever the fuck we wanted to watch.
Yeah,
and that was how that worked. Oh man, what movie did you see as a kid that really messed with your head? Question for both. No, I don't even have to think about it. The Exorcist is by far the scariest fucking shit I ever saw. Scared the fuck out of me as a kid. I remember being so terrified of the scenes of like that. What was her name? I don't even remember the girl's name, but she was, possessed by the devil, vomiting and like all this crazy shit. So scary, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
don't even know why my grandmother let me watch this. I was like 9 or 10 years old watching this, and it scared the crap out of me. Still scares. I haven't watched it since then.
I really want to see it. I've never seen it,
You've
but
never
let me
seen
just
the original Exorcist? Oh
yeah,
my god.
let me tell you
Dude,
this,
you
Mike.
have to watch that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to watch that.
I had a really good friend at one of my last jobs I had, and he was like big into death metal. He was this older guy. He had all these fucking like Satan tattoos all over him and shit. And he told me he was like, scariest movie I've ever seen, man. Still bugs me to this day. Exorcist.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, you?
Dude,
It
it's
fucks with you
crazy.
with the devil tattoo on your
There's like a
foot?
part where like this fucking girl's floating in the air and she's just, I hate to get graphic, but she just like the devil's possessing her and she's just like, fuck me, fuck me. It's just like fucking crazy, dude. This
Yeah,
movie is crazy.
those are
Like, I mean,
classic scenes. I've heard about. Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you mine. Have you ever seen The People Under the Stairs?
People Under the Stairs. I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it, but I remember specifically watching it a lot as a kid, and like it was this black kid. He was walking like on the streets and stuff. He was walking by this house, and like I think he like heard some noise coming from this house, and he looked over, and there was this like little girl who was stuck in this house, and nobody could leave, and there was people living under the stairs.
Jesus. That sounds interesting.
I
I've
haven't
never,
described it that well just now,
I
but
mean, it sounds scary though. It sounds weird, spooky.
yeah. Oh, The Mummy. You remember that? Let's go ahead and put this comment on the screen here. Chris Hobson with
I don't think
was
I've
mine
seen The
was The
Mummy.
Grudge,
I have
but
seen The
now I love
Grudge.
that. I didn't like The Grudge when it first came out.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it was okay. I mean, I didn't mind it.
The Mummy was good.
I have not seen The Mummy. Hey, before I forget though, you know what movies, and I don't know if this is gonna make me look like a bitch. There were some of the Goosebump fucking shows really got to me. There was like the Haunted Mask, because I was
That was
seeing,
the first episode, dude.
yeah, I was seeing this as like a really young kid. So the Haunted Mask really fucked with me.
Do you
Um,
remember whenever it premiered and all that, or
oh
how did you
yeah,
watch it?
I think we watched it on TV or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I was terrified of that one. There was another one with Tower of Terror or something.
Yes.
And there was one where the dad was turning into like a plant or something. He would like eat plants and feeding these kids this plant goo. And it was like fucking scary. Like Goosebumps, say what you want about it. It was scary as shit. Children don't get that kind of shit these days, but they were pumping out some scary stuff for kids.
Yeah, the Mask one and the Tower one. I had VHSs of both of those that I got for Christmas.
Do you remember I don't know if it was as scary, but the dummy one freaked me out.
No thanks.
No thanks.
Stupid.
You got I don't remember what the plant. Oh, Stay Out of the Basement, I think it was called, or Don't Go Down to the Basement. One of those two.
Okay, honestly, truthfully, do you want to know what is the scariest movie I've ever seen?
What's that?
Signs.
Yeah, at the time, absolutely, absolutely. Because
Still.
I was young. I haven't seen it since then. I don't think I haven't seen it in years. I remember being terrified of the aliens walking through like on the footage because like as a kid, you don't know exactly what's real and what's not. So in my head, I thought this was kind of like real shit. Like, I was too young to know. I mean, when did it come out? 2000?
Yeah, give that a Google, Mike. It's
Oh,
just, man, whenever they're in the cornfield at night. I love whenever Mel Gibson goes down to that house because he's like, I locked him in the pantry. I got to get the fuck out of here. So Mel Gibson goes down to that guy's
that guy
house.
just says it's a casually too. He's like, he's in the pantry.
Yeah. But he goes down to the house and he's like, hey, it's time to come out. Whoever's in there, we have the rest of your
I'm
friends.
calling the police.
We took them downtown in a paddy wagon.
2002. Man, I was scared I was age 12. Man, I was a bitch at 12, I guess.
Great movie, man. And Chris in the chat said he's never seen it. Definitely take
that's
your
a good
time to
one.
watch Signs.
Oh yeah, and at the end when I won't say like the ending if you haven't seen it then, but the end when the alien is like holding the girl and like I was terrified of that. Very scary shit. Oh, and when the walkie talkies would make the scary sounds like from the aliens,
Did that bug you?
yeah, oh yeah, I didn't like
Yeah.
that. And one more thing now that since I brought up Goosebumps is Are You Afraid of the Dark? Do you remember that?
That was my introduction to horror.
Some of those, the fucking clown one. I don't remember what it was called. Laughing in the Dark with Bozo the clown, and he goes through this fun house where there's this clown in it, and he steals the cigar. Oh no, he steals the nose from this clown, and the clown ends up like haunting him and coming to his house. And Are You Afraid of the Dark was pretty cutting edge back then.
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember any episode, but I remember the fucking intro.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Perfect score.
I loved doing as a kid, like when we would sit around the campfire, my grandparents would give me some sand and I would always pretend to like throw it on the fire. It never did the same thing that it did in the show where it would like make it go up in flames or whatever. But I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm telling this tale for whatever and throw the sand.
Do you remember salute my shorts or salute your shorts?
It sounds familiar. I recognize the name. I don't remember what it is.
They did a Halloween episode where like the asshole kid of all the kids that would go to the camp, they like made up a character called Zeke the Plumber. If you would like, Google Zeke the Plumber and just look at a fucking picture of this character. His face looked like it was like a Leatherface kind of character. And it just, man, as a child seeing
Oh
that,
wow, I do remember that. That's
scary.
freaky.
Fuck me up.
Absolutely. And so what was that from?
Salute your shorts.
Salute Your Shorts. Was that kind of like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like different stories or what?
No, it was from the same time period. But it was a summer camp show.
Interesting.
It was just a Halloween episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like kids had way better. Like when we were kids, we had way better shows. I don't know what
I
kids
wonder
are
what
watching now, but
what's
like
like
they
the
don't
new.
have stuff like that. They don't have Goosebumps and
Well, they just remade. I think Rob Zombie fucking
Rob Zombie. Here we
remade
go.
another one. He redid. What was it? Adam's Family.
Yeah. Is it
So,
is that the new one that's on Netflix
I'm
right now?
sorry, the Munsters. I'm sorry.
Monsters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they do have a new Adams family show on Netflix right now called Wednesday. I actually do want to watch that.
Are you excited for the new Beetlejuice that they're making?
Is it going to be with Michael Keaton?
Yes.
Then fuck yeah. Fuck
And
yeah.
Winona Ryder as well.
Dude, and that's confirmed?
I think that yes, I think it is confirmed. I think that the only rumor that's going around is that Johnny Depp is going to be in it as well.
That would be cool because he hasn't been in movies in a while because of the whole scandal.
Hopefully, this is our reintroduction to
I hope
Johnny
he has
Depp.
a big comeback. That's what I'm hoping. He deserves a big comeback.
Yes.
And I hope he eventually gets back on the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I want him back in they want to do a Pirates of the Caribbean movie without Johnny Depp.
I've never seen any of those.
Oh, really? Well, those actually are pretty good movies. Pretty deep. He embodies that character, Jack Sparrow. Yeah, but I'd love to see him do a comeback, and Beetlejuice would be cool. Hell yeah! If Michael Keaton is in it, Winona Ryder as well. Yeah, absolutely, I'd watch that.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's another one of those movies.
That creeped me out too as a kid. Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was another one of the movies that I wore the fuck out whenever I was young.
Yeah. Just some weird shit, like small ass heads, like shrinking your head, and the fucking crazy faces. That movie was really out there.
Do you remember Beetlejuice the animated series?
I do remember watching that. Yeah, I don't remember much about it, but I do remember that there was a Beetlejuice series.
I think there was like Animaniacs, the Beetlejuice animated show. I think this was a fucking pretty specific era for me. 95, 96, somewhere around there.
The 90s was the fucking time to watch television for kids. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And if we're gonna stay on horror movies, after this one, we'll kind of close it out so we can do an after show here. From the chat, Chris is asking, have you heard about the new movie The Mean One. It's going to be a horror slasher movie about the
I
Grinch.
have heard about that. Yeah, that's a very fascinating take because, of course, everyone knows the Grinch who stole Christmas, but this is a whole different angle they're taking. I'm really excited for this one.
I'm definitely, you've got me. I'm very intrigued. I definitely loved the cartoon when I was a kid. Now Jim Carrey took it to a whole nother level.
So is that also your Grinch? That's my Grinch. Is Jim Carrey?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Who's
I
the
did not
contender?
like the new one. Well, the other one is what was his name? Cumberbatch.
You're right.
He did
Yeah.
one. He played Grinch, and it was okay. I watched it. It was fine, but it was no Jim Carrey Grinch.
Didn't even watch it. No thanks.
Yeah, you didn't miss out on anything. I couldn't agree more. The 90s was after the 90s, everything went downhill. I'd say I would throw in the early 2000s were also pretty good. 90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s. Once 2005 hit, everything went to shit.
Yeah, I think the 2010s is really when things got bad.
Yeah. 2010s have sucked.
There ain't nothing like being a kid, brother.
Nope.
But okay. What do you think? What do you think about maybe putting a bow on this episode?
Let's do it, man.
So
It was fun. It was fun. I'm glad we talked about some positives though about Halloween Ends. We didn't just say it's a bad movie, which it is. It's a fucking shitty movie. But we did talk about some good stuff. That's good. That means we can be objective.
yeah, whenever I make TikToks of the, of segments of the show and everything, I'm just going to do TikToks of the nice things we said.
No. That's not what gets clicks is the negative stuff. People like the drama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, people want to see you hating because then they can comment and tell you how it was an awesome movie. Be like, no, you just don't appreciate good storytelling, and it was actually good because Corey was like this, and so they're just going to go back and forth in the comments, and that's what you want. You want the engagement.
I hope so. We actually had some interesting. We've gotten some traction here in the last couple weeks since we started back up season 2. There's been people commenting on like the Star Wars videos that we've done. So far on the TikTok as well, our Star Wars content has gotten the most views, which
Really?
shouldn't surprise me.
It shouldn't because it's a huge fucking franchise. Marvel, Star Wars, all of it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping that covering
Appreciate
a
it,
little bit
Chris.
of Halloween Ends. Hopefully that kind of expands. This show isn't about one thing. We're kind of doing whatever we want.
Yeah, we can do whatever. I do have one thing to put a bow on the Halloween stuff.
Okay.
Where do you think the franchise goes from here? And how long does it take for a new movie to come out?
Yeah, it probably should be about 10 years before they come
10
back, and it
years.
should be a reboot.
We're going to be in our 40s when another movie comes out.
That's the only way that we can continue, right?
Yeah,
Reboot.
I mean, a lot of time has to pass because you want all this stuff to go away. I mean, you can't just start. Although I wouldn't be surprised if like 3 or 4 years, because Hollywood, I feel like Hollywood has no fresh ideas these days. So they're always recycling shit. But they haven't done like a Jason movie in a while or a Freddy Krueger. Maybe they should focus on those guys.
I couldn't give two shits about Freddy Krueger, but
What the? Oh,
what?
okay. Oh, I
Why?
can't believe that. I cannot believe that. Freddy Krueger is awesome.
What's wrong?
Freddy Krueger is amazing.
No, he's not.
Pennywise, Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers. That's like the Mount Rushmore of horror.
Sure, yeah, they have their fans. Freddy's the shit.
Okay, whatever, man.
He's just too funny.
On that note.
No, but real quick though, there was some kind of, there's been like a copyright dispute with the people who own Jason, people who own Freddy is not good. Thank you, Chris. And apparently it's been legally settled. So whoever owns the Jason, Friday the 13th franchise, there's been a lot of rumblings that they're going to be making a new movie soon. So that's something to look forward to.
And you like Jason, so right?
I like him enough. Yeah.
Michael's your favorite though.
But that's not even up for debate.
Yeah. I kind of like them all. I'm a equal opportunist horror serial killer type of guy.
Can I end the show with a story?
Absolutely. As long as it's a good one.
Man, the pressure's on. Okay, make it a good one. So ever since I was 16 years old, I have I've legitimately dressed up as Michael Myers every year for Halloween since I was 16 years old. And I have also spent a lot of time in the haunted attraction business. Did you know that about me?
I did not know that, but that sounds pretty awesome. I always wanted to do that.
I started in like 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. My best friend Nick Sin was already in it, and he wanted me to partake. So that's where I got my start. What I wanted to do in the haunted attraction business, in the haunted houses, I wanted to be Michael Myers. But I was told that that's cheating. That's too easy. You should be just like a general character, vampire, zombie, something like that.
Okay.
Don't take a trademarked fucking mega horror icon. It's like putting on Ghostface and running around trying to scare people. It's just too easy. Do you get that?
I do, but at the end of the day, if I fucking like Michael Myers, I'm going to put the Michael Myers mask on. But I get it. I get it.
Well, I finally convinced Nick to let me be Michael Myers one night, and we got it cleared. They didn't want me inside of the actual haunted house, but I could go out to where the line of people are, where they're kind of waiting to get in. Yeah, you can go fuck with the line. So I did that, and I was kind of getting face to face with these college kids, bunch of dudes, big rowdy guys. They're having a good time. They know people are trying to scare them, so they're being obnoxious and stuff. And I'm kind of face to face with this guy, and somebody tries to stick their finger in my ass.
In your ass. That sounds scary. Now that's a fucking haunted house.
Somebody behind me, I feel like some kind of like finger, like some behind me, touch my ass cheek.
Sounds like they were doing the scaring.
And I immediately got very upset. And Travis loved that feeling, says Chris from the chat. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I immediately feel head to toe get hot. And I'm fucking so mad. And I turn around and the dude's still standing there, and I can just smell the alcohol coming off his breath. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to give this kid the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to fucking drill him right here.
Sounds like that's what he wanted you to do, is drill him. Sounds like he had already drilled you. Did he at least lube it up first?
I did hear like a noise behind me.
See, that's a courtesy. That's a good thing.
I honestly, me today, I would have probably just drilled him. I don't know why I didn't. I had a lot of I held back a lot on that kid.
Yeah, it sounds like he was doing the scaring there. That sounds crazy.
So,
hey, real quick, he brought up his Mount Rushmore: Mike Myers, Pennywise, Jason, Ghostface. I forgot Ghostface in my Mount Rushmore, so actually, I'm gonna cheat and say mine has 5. I know Mount Rushmore has 4 characters, but I'm doing Mike Myers, Pennywise, Jason, Ghostface, and fucking Freddy. I'm doing all 5.
Is that yours?
Yeah, because I love all 5. I mean, I don't have. If I had to pick one as my favorite, Ghostface. Ghostface, and I'll tell you why, because I love how realistic anybody can take a fucking cell phone, a voice changer, and say hello, Sydney, and do that, and that's real.
Like I guess realistic. That's why I like Michael, because it's real. Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah.
Could really happen.
Yeah, sure. Some of it.
You ready for my Mount Rushmore?
Who is it?
Michael.
Oh, I forgot Chucky. Fuck. I like them all. Fuck it.
So we'll go Michael, Chucky, Jason, and I gotta put a 4th up there. Let's say
5. There's no rules.
Give me a drum roll. All right, there you go. Oh man, wow, your camera's shaking.
So no, that was just the earthquake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Number 4, the final on the Mount Rushmore. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Leatherface.
Leatherface, little curveball there.
Well, the movie with Matthew McConaughey, and Renee Zellweger.
Hey, Zellweger.
It was very early in their careers. This was
Oh, is
yeah,
this like the original one?
yes. And
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Matthew McConaughey. It's not no, dude. This is like number 4 or 5.
Oh, really?
Those movies. I think those movies came out before even 1978, before Halloween did.
Oh, well, that's why I haven't seen them then. Old as fuck.
I haven't seen a lot of the originals and stuff, but I enjoyed the remake with Jessica Biel. Just because I'm a Jessica Biel guy, but
Obviously.
either way, Matthew McConaughey as a fucking psychotic, crazy person who's like in the Leatherface family, he did a great job. I loved it.
Yeah.
You ever seen that one?
I'll have to watch those someday. The only Leatherface movies I've seen are the new ones they made like in the mid to late 2000s, like before 2010. And then they did a sequel, I think, too. Actually, it might have been a prequel. I don't fucking know anymore. But there's 2 movies I saw that were fairly new. I've seen those, and that's it.
Okay. All right. So we got some Mount Rushmores. We talked about our favorite timelines of the Halloween franchise. We talked about
I
me getting a
completely
finger in
forgot
my
about
ass.
Chucky. Yeah, the finger in the ass was a very good story. But I couldn't believe I forgot about Chucky. I mean, there's so many good horror characters. It's really hard to pick one.
Which of the Child's Play do you like?
Oh, fuck. I mean, the first one's very good. I love the first one. I also really like Bride of Chucky. After that, they got really bad.
That's what started it to get bad.
But I actually like Bride of Chucky. I agree with you, but I actually did like Bride of Chucky.
It's not bad.
No, you want to know what's fucking bad is Glenn in Seed of Chucky. That's bad. That's bad.
The voice, yeah, everything about it.
Everything about that is bad. The Curse of Chucky wasn't bad. That was a newer one.
I liked Curse, yeah. My favorite of all of them is the second Chucky.
Second one. I'm trying to pinpoint what that was specifically about.
You know, he gets put into foster care.
I've seen them all, but I forget.
Yeah, gets put in the foster care. That's whenever one of his teachers gets beat to death with the ruler too, and then it ends in the factory, in the Chucky factory.
Well, last thing I want to bring up before we take it home and go to the pre-show is I want to know if you have seen the new Chucky series. This is the 2nd season that's out right now.
It's so funny you asked that. I fucking have never seen it.
Really? I've seen season 1 and it was decent.
Do you recommend?
I would recommend that well before Halloween ends. I'll tell you that much. Well before it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was pretty good, and it was way, way better than Bride of Chucky, way better than Seed of Chucky. So, I mean, I don't know if that's helping you out at all, but
yeah. You'll have to let me know what it gets streamed on. Maybe I have it on stream.
So I think it's on Sci-Fi.
Oh, Sci-Fi has their own fucking streaming too?
I don't know if they have their own stream. I actually don't know. I'll have to look it up and let you know later.
Okay, guys, that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. We should have a special guest next week. We're gonna announce who that is on the Instagram and the Facebook page. So please, at the Do4 brand, make sure you are following us on all social media platforms. And for Mike and Travis Dufo, I will see you on the next episode. You see that? Liv Morgan from WWE is supposed to be on the next Chucky.
Yeah, she is. I'm looking for. I haven't seen season 2 at all, but I did hear that.
I think Paige would be really good on the Chucky.
Yeah, Paige would be a good fit for that. Liv Morgan's a huge horror fan. She actually dressed as Chucky. I think one of her outfits was similar.
Who's that chick who's banging Rey Mysterio's son?
Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, she should be on it.
Yeah. There's a lot of women in WWE that could be on it. Oh, you know who definitely should be on it is Abaddon or Abaddon. Abaddon from AEW. I always say her name is Abaddon, but it's
I was
Abaddon.
like, it's Abaddon. God damn it.
I don't fucking know. She freaks me the fuck out.
Where has she been? She's mainly on Dark, right?
I don't know. AEW debuts people and then they're gone like the next week, and you see them months later. I don't know. It's weird.
I saw something on Twitter. They were like, "Who is your favorite debut from 2021?" And it's like everybody on one graphic, and it's a fucking tight
Oh,
graphic. There's a lot of people.
it's a tight graphic.
Like Bryan Danielson, CM Punk. Who was your favorite debut from 2021?
Oh, I mean, fuck, CM Punk. Daniel Bryan would be number 2 for sure, though. But CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Oh, Ray is dating Buddy Murphy. Oh, interesting. I actually thought I'm not going to say that. Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was about to say on air.
Buddy Murphy, man. Somebody at my job was trying to put over Buddy Murphy to me. That guy's the shits.
I know. I think it might have been me. I like Buddy Murphy.
Maybe it was one other person who's getting on the Buddy Murphy train?
He was good in WWE and he's still good. Although
I bet he was great on 205 Live.
No, that's not. No. He was what was he doing? I don't even okay. I don't even remember his feuds. So
He's the modern day king of Sunday Night Heat and Velocity.
I just thought he was I thought I remember him being good though.
Real quick. The Triple H regime. What if he fucking brought back Sunday Night Heat and Velocity? Would you be happy about or even one?
I don't care about Velocity, but I remember Sunday Night Heat being pretty banging back in the day. Yeah. Dude, so you mean do you mean before a pay-per-view or when was it just a Sunday show or was it before pay-per-views?
Sometimes it would be before pay-per-views. Yeah, that was fucking so cool as a kid.
Yeah, they do Saturday shows now, so it would have to be on a Saturday.
As the internet was becoming like a more pertinent thing and everything, Velocity really started catching my eye because Frankie,
I did like Velocity in the early days. Yeah, John Cena was on Velocity in the early days.
Yeah, you'd see people you'd hear about on the internet and just be watching Velocity and fucking Bobby Roode comes out and it's like, oh shit.
And who's that guy who was shooting on Kurt Angle, the tough enough kid?
Daniel Puder.
Yeah, he was on Velocity a lot.
I know that they made Sunday Night Heat. They made Stevie Richards call it Stevie Night Heat there for a while, and that was the only place you could see Raven for a while too.
Yeah, Victoria was also there. Yeah, there were certain characters that were designated to those shows, but wasn't Sunday Night Heat, at least in the beginning, it was pretty good, pretty solid,
huge.
Yeah, it wasn't just for jobbers, which it ended up being in towards the end, but. I hate to say jobbers, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. Was it always on MTV?
I thought it was on TNN.
It started on MTV.
Did it really? That's crazy.
Absolutely. That's why you had Rockin' Mankind or taking on Triple H in Austin on Sunday Night Heat.
All right, who's your favorite star Triple H has brought back so
far? Can you name me
some?
What's that girl's name?
Oh, that's very specific. What's that girl's name? Who the fuck are you even talking about? What girl did he bring back?
There was the woman that he.
Oh, no, that's so specific.
Guys, this is hard because I don't watch WWE.
Sable, Molly Holly, Trish Stratus, Victoria, Tori Wilson.
Trish Stratus is coming back, isn't she?
She might be. I don't know.
Candice
LeRae, is that the one? I don't even
she
gets
know
my
who that
vote,
is. Man.
Who
honestly,
is that?
I've never seen a Candice LeRae match, but I've seen her trend on Twitter a couple times.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that seems
the
like
future.
I'm going with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt. Oh, Bray Wyatt or who's Scarlett Bordeaux with? Karrion Kross. I really like Karrion Kross, and I like Scarlett Bordeaux and Karrion as a package because Scarlett's hot. I'm sorry, she is. But she's a smoke show.
You're going to have to give me more substance, or I'm thinking this is OVW guys 2.0.
What is it with you and OVW? First off, NXT, even now, better than OVW ever was.
What is it with you and OVW? That's just from
You
my period, man.
actually, it was kind of triggering me earlier when you were comparing. NXT is way better than OVW. NXT is a developmental brand, but it's next level. Especially when Triple H was in charge and they were doing the takeovers, it was huge.
So you're a big fan of the Undisputed Era and all that? And
Yeah, I loved what they were doing at the time. It's not as big now. Yeah, Bray Wyatt was a huge deal. People were very excited for Bray Wyatt. But you're kind of indifferent on him, aren't you? You don't like him as much.
from what I heard, I don't like the Fiend. From what I
Oh, I
heard,
love the Fiend.
they're actually like going back to like his original state, and I like that. You know, if he's gonna be the first Bray Wyatt I saw, I'll take that.
But it seems like there's some supernatural element still there because we saw some character. Do you remember at the end of his promo, some masked person, which sounded like Bray, with a synthesizer or whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, so I mean, they're doing something fiend-ish, right? That's what it seems like.
yeah. I from what I was reading, they just kind of paid homage to what he's done so far. They're not going to go back to it. They're just saying, "Hey, thank you." But now what's next is not going to be any of this.
Fuck. I love the Fiend. I hope one day though they can always bring it back because Undertaker, he was the American Badass for a while, and that was all well and good. Then he eventually went back to being the Dead Man. I do. Your face changed. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion. I loved the American Badass, and I had hoped for years. Like I enjoyed the first couple years of him turning back to the Dead Man. That was cool, very cool. 2 or 3 years of that was nice. After that, I wanted to see him be the American Badass, and it never happened. The only time it got close to that was with the Boneyard match. He kind of got close to that, being the
The
American
only
Badass.
version of American Badass that I will take is the first version, long hair Undertaker.
See, my Undertaker was the American Badass coming out with his arm broken in a cast and facing Brock Lesnar and getting thrown off the stage and shit like that
With the short hair?
with the short hair.
Fuck that.
And the theme song, "You got it now, you gone and made a big mistake." Like that was my fucking Undertaker.
I remember being very knee deep into backyard wrestling, and sometimes I'd like in the morning, if I knew there was a show that evening, if I knew I was going to see my friends and stuff, I'd pop in some of the WWF themes that I had like on burnt CDs and shit, and that was one of them. He had a good theme song.
I remember having so many wrestling CDs back in the day, like all the anthology CDs. Like back when CDs were big, they would release all the shit, and friends would get together and we'd all steal, an entrance song that we really liked. I would come out to Kane's theme song a lot.
Oh, would you?
Yeah, I'd like to be in because I had this like mask from WWE shop.com and everything. And
do you remember Raven's WWE theme?
That one?
That was my backyard theme for a while.
That's a good one. That's not a bad one, I guess. It's kind of uneventful, but whatever. I actually never liked Raven at all. I thought Raven was, yeah. Because I didn't know who Raven was from ACW or anything like that. So every time Raven was on my screen, I would change the channel.
So you didn't fucking watch his Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame speech?
I don't know. Didn't even know he's in the Hall of Fame for Impact Wrestling. Did not even know that's a thing. I thought Kurt Angle and Sting were the only guys in that.
Kurt Angle, Sting, Abyss. There's a couple guys in it.
Yeah, I did not know Raven. I did not know Raven was even in TNA. I wasn't watching then. I didn't watch TNA until like 2006. So he was gone by then, I'm sure.
I guess he was on the downward spiral. He was really good in like 03, 04, 05. Yeah,
I would argue, was Raven ever good though? Like ever? Oh man, I'm triggering
my favorite.
I'm triggering you.
It's just my favorite era of him was whenever he was kind of trying to get the NWA title from my favorite of all time, Jeff Jarrett. That's my.
And when you say that, is Jeff Jarrett actually your favorite, or is that like a shoot, or is that like a work or whatever?
No, that's a shoot. I've said it since I was a kid.
What is it about? See, Jeff Jarrett is another channel changer for me personally. What about him? Yeah, changed my mind.
Well, whenever Owen Hart died, I remember Jeff Jarrett getting very emotional about it and all that, and he was also teaming with Owen Hart at the time as well.
Yeah.
So, and Owen was my all-time favorite. I'd tell everybody I talked to, "Oh, who's your favorite wrestler?" Owen fucking Hart. Um, Whenever he died, I was like, well, he can't be my favorite anymore, but his best friend Jeff Jarrett. I started telling people, yeah, Jeff Jarrett's my favorite wrestler. Jeff Jarrett's my favorite wrestler. A lot of people would be like, what, why, explain further, yada, yada, yada. Well, as time went on, I didn't watch any of Jarrett's WCW stuff. I'll be honest. I've never seen his WCW title reigns, but I was a big fan of his run in the WWF with Deborah. Did you remember that run at all?
I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
So he was the Intercontinental Champion. He was
Didn't he hold up
having
Vince
really
for
good
like
matches.
money at like a event, SummerSlam or something? He was on his way out and he wanted a big check or something that night because he thought he was going to get stiffed on pay.
Yeah. And he had to put over China that night too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And he wasn't sure. Yeah. He wanted to make sure he got his money first.
Well, we fast forward to NWA TNA. The website that I went to for my wrestling news, WCW had been closed a couple months at this point, about half a year. The wrestling news website fucking posted thing. Hey, there's a new promotion coming. It's going to be on pay-per-view every week. It is owned and ran by Jeff Jarrett, his dad, Jerry, and it's they're going to try to be the fucking competition for WWF. And I was like, yes. So I bought the first NWA TNA pay-per-view, and I don't know if you remember this, but fucking right out the gate, first TNA event ever, they had that big battle royal to put the NWA title on somebody. Toby fucking Keith, country legend, Toby Keith.
They put the title on him?
He does some singing and stuff on the show,
Oh.
help sell tickets. It's in Nashville. Toby Keith is out there with the guitar playing it, singing the fucking patriotic song. Jeff Jarrett comes out and just fucking shoves the microphone off to the side and Toby and just walks down to the ring. And I was like, boom, that's a good fucking heel. That's why he's my favorite. And then Toby actually gives Jeff Jarrett a stalling suplex in the battle royal.
In all fairness, I didn't watch a whole lot of Jeff Jarrett, so it's not fair to say he's a channel changer because I just didn't pay enough attention to him to become a fan or not. Especially in TNA. I guess my only issue that I heard in TNA wasn't he booking himself to be the top guy?
Here, fucking everybody always says this to me.
That trigger you?
Let me ask you this:
Okay.
who else had the credibility?
Yeah, at that time.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah. But he
At
was
that
champ.
point,
He did book himself to be champion a lot, though.
hey, whenever he went to WCW, he was really good friends with Vince Russo. Vince Russo started booking the angles to put the belt on Jarrett. Jarrett's a former multi-time WCW champion, and people act like that's not that big of a deal. WCW was a fucking major company for a long time, and he was the champ. He was at the top of the card multiple times in that company.
Yeah.
So he was a star.
Fine. He's a star.
He's a star. He's a star. But no, for real, Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash, Samoa Joe, all these guys, their best matches in TNA were with Jarrett.
All right, fair enough. And TNA did have they really had a lot of people come through that company, like you just listed, and they had Christian, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. I mean, they had
Don't
everyone.
say Matt Hardy's never been a draw. He's never been
Matt
a
Hardy
star.
with the delete gimmick, that was big. You can't deny that gimmick wasn't big. That was drawing
And
lots of eyeballs.
how long have we been in the era of the least watched era of pro wrestling?
Wouldn't you say that started in the 2010s? That was least watched. Oh, okay.
On to now.
Yeah.
Anything that's been hot in the last 10 years, I don't think has been hot.
I agree. I can't name anything that's been like Roman Reigns is the hottest thing that's happened in 10 years.
That's a whole nother conversation for
The
another night.
streak ending, dare I say, was a huge thing that happened in the 2010s.
Yeah.
I remember my jaw dropping to the fucking floor practically when that happened, when Brock actually pinned Taker. I thought, because you just go into WrestleMania assuming that would never happen. And didn't that happen in 2000? Had it been 13 or 14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
was
yeah, other than that, not much happened.
I was watching that pay-per-view with a bunch of the guys that I train with, and the second it happened, everybody got quiet for and it was maybe like 2 or 3 seconds into the silence. I yelled out, "Fuck yeah, finally." And people were like, "What do you mean?
No, I was
Not
not.
this."
I was not ready for that. I thought it was the right move, but I was not ready.
Truth be told, I've been a Brock Lesnar guy since the day he showed up in WWE.
Oh yeah,
Because I
I was
remember
so
hearing him
pissed when he
about him in
left.
OVW.
Oh, Jesus fucking go with this OVW shit. When I remember when it was Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar the first time at WrestleMania 20, and I didn't know the inner workings of what was happening, but apparently the fans did because they were booing them both out of the building. But I hadn't pieced it together. It wasn't until after WrestleMania days later I found out that both weren't coming back. And at the time I could have cared less about Goldberg. But Brock Lesnar, when I found out he was leaving, I was pissed. He was my favorite dude, like out of everyone there.
Really?
Yeah, anytime he was the champion, I was all for it. I wanted to see him mow through the whole fucking roster. And when he came back in 2011, there were rumors of him coming back. I thought, oh, there's probably no chance of that happening. But
That shocked me.
that was amazing.
He
Yeah.
came in and fucked
For
up.
2012, I think it was. Yeah, he really did. And he's been with them ever since. He's 10 plus years now. That's crazy.
Definitely something I never thought was going to happen either.
The only thing I wish that was different about his run is he actually used to have good wrestling matches. And now he just does, his 3 or 4 moves and that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it. And that was cool in the beginning, like, fucking up dudes in the beginning but you got to, I don't know, I felt like he should have changed up a bit. He was a good wrestler.
How what you just said about Brock Lesnar, he was better back then than he was in the second run. That's how I feel about Shawn Michaels.
You feel like Shawn Michaels was better before he came back?
80s and 90s Shawn Michaels.
Well,
awesome.
I don't think anybody would, I don't think too many people at least would disagree there.
I
don't, but he didn't lose much of a step. He didn't lose as much of a step as CM Punk lost in the 7 years.
That's comparing apples to oranges, though.
Okay, yeah, I mean, CM Punk was really good though. Like he was putting on killer matches before he left.
He was even against Ryback.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but the 2011 match, the Money in the Bank match with John Cena, I don't remember a match in history that I've been more excited about.
Okay. No, for sure. Me too. That was the last time in my memory that I was fucking fully invested in something.
Yep.
The only other time was whenever Stone Cold Steve Austin got a match with Vince McMahon finally after all of that buildup. That's the only time I can kind of compare it to. And that's huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, wrestling was red hot then. But yeah, 2011 and then nothing. Until AEW started coming around. I started getting excited about wrestling again for a short time.
Like, you want to talk about your Austin McMahons and your Cena and Punks. One thing that needs to come into that conversation is the Joey Janela Sunny Kiss matches.
I didn't even know they fought each other, but that doesn't sound. They probably were in the main event of Dynamite at one point.
You a GCW guy?
I mean, I know of GCW, but no, I'm not a fan.
Not a fan. What makes you not a fan?
I just don't watch it. I mean, maybe if I would be a fan if I watched it, but I've never watched it.
They don't have any drawing power for you?
I barely know what GCW is, and that's only because of John Moxley.
Okay. So that's interesting. We're in kind of an era like back in the day, if Stone Cold was to fucking leave WWE, then he fucking went to WCW and started working some ECW shows. Do you think
That
that
would've
you
been
would have
crazy.
watched a little bit of ECW because Austin was there?
Well, fuck yeah. Yeah.
So you're not a big John Moxley guy.
Yeah. Wait, I like John Moxley.
Okay. Why are you watching the show?
Well, hold on. But John Moxley is not Stone Cold Steve Austin. Those are two different level guys.
Okay.
John Moxley is good, definitely a top guy, but he's not Stone Cold top guy, in my opinion.
I really like that he stopped drinking.
If CM Punk went, yeah, that's good. If CM Punk went to GCW, I'd give it a shot.
You know what? Honestly, me too, probably.
And him being mentioned on Dynamite gives me hope that he's actually going to come back.
Okay, let's say this. 1 year ago, if Punk wouldn't have went to AEW, but went to Impact Wrestling, do you think that would have changed things?
Not one bit. But it hasn't really even changed much for. I mean, they did do their first $1 million gate, and they've had more since then. So that's not nothing. But it didn't set the world on fire like we had hoped it would.
No. And we definitely, a lot of missed opportunities. We could have heard the ring announcer say, and up next, we got CM Punk versus Jordynne Grace. Do not change that channel. It's like,
they knew we were changing the channel.
And they knew.
They knew as soon as we heard we were changing that fucking channel.
Who do you think is the next big star if you could pick the next breakout star? Do you think it's Cody?
It's MJF.
God damn it. Why?
I know you. It's MJF, dude. That guy is going to be a huge babyface someday.
Babyface?
One day. He's amazing heel. He's going to be an incredible babyface someday. Do you see how the crowd, or I don't know if you did watch, but he had the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand the Dynamite after his return.
What do you think it is?
I mean, he just his charisma. Dude, do you ever listen to his interviews? Like, not even just what he does in the ring, which is good in my opinion, but do you ever just listen to his just interviews with people, and it's just fucking entertaining from the moment it starts till it ends. It's just nonstop him just going off, and he's embodied this character. He's nonstop this character, and
I definitely liked MJF at the beginning for sure.
Yeah. So what is it about? Yeah. Why did he lose you? Do you think he tries too hard?
I think it's literally just AEW. Their booking is not consistent. I don't agree with a lot of the way that they construct their shit.
Yeah, unfortunately it's not consistent. That's why I kind of stopped watching AEW regularly. I kind of just, lost my interest for the most part. It's not must see.
Did you watch it this past Tuesday night?
No, I did not. I watched clips on YouTube, so I saw I watched the MJF segment and literally just that. But that's how I know, at least for me, that he's going to be a big deal, is because that's all I go to watch is just the MJF stuff.
Do you like how they're using William Regal?
Yeah, I mean, they put him in good situations off and on, and he's good on the mic. Absolutely.
As far as hiring all these legends and stuff like that, I think that they've used William Regal better than they have, let's say, a Mark Henry.
Yeah, actually, I did like what they were doing with Mark Henry for a while. He was like, and now it's time for the main event or whatever he would say. Does he still do that? Like, I haven't seen him in a while. I have not seen that man in a long time.
I just can't wait for Captain Insano to show up on AEW TV.
Yeah, that was a rumor. Big Show, I think, had an idea that he'd be wrestling more in AEW than he has.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think there was a rumor that he wanted to do more, but he was fucking Big Show. They had Big Show wrestling on Dark. Dude, no. You don't have Big Show wrestling on Dark. You just don't have Big Show wrestle.
Have him on fucking pay-per-view is what I would do.
Yeah, but what a waste. Like, yeah, they make questionable choices, but that's what happens when you got
I thought a Super Mark having a promotion was going to be a good thing, and I was wrong.
Did you really think it was going to be a good thing?
Dude, I thought this was the second fucking big.
He
boom
was. It
wrestling.
was really good for a while. I don't know what happened. And he has the debut nailed.
No one does it better.
The formula. He's got the formula.
I thought debuts were good in TNA, but fuck me. Debuts even in WWE in the last like 10 years haven't even been as good as AEW does them.
Yeah, well, not until the Triple H era. They're getting better now with the whole White Rabbit thing and getting interest, in Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, but that's not a shock. People were expecting that and predicting it. I like a boom debut out of nowhere. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely good at that. Like the lights go out. Like, oh my God, he's here.
I have to
What do you say we put a bow on the after show, though? After you sneeze.
I was trying to fucking sneeze. No, that sounds good. I'm very interested to see, because I saw the numbers kind of going up and down as we were going. I'm interested to see the analytics behind this. The podcast too on the podcast has been doing very well, season 2. I think that there are people.
I wonder how people are going to perceive our poor review of the movie. Like, because if you got a person that came into this show liking the movie, they're not going to like the show. But we did say some good stuff.
Give us some feedback then.
Yeah. Yeah. If you love this movie, tell us why in the comments.
If we find somebody who's super passionate about Halloween Ends, let's have him on the show.
That's Glenn. It's Glenn. I mean, it's going to be Glenn. He will tell you why it's an amazing film. He rated it an 8 out of 10.
Can we kick people off?
We absolutely can. Right, like live viewers?
No, like, if I get, whenever we invite a guest and everything and they come
I'll get him off. You get him on and I'll get him off. You just tell me when to get him off and I'll do it.
All right, guys, that is the end of the Travis Dufour show. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Any final words, Mike? You want to plug your Instagram or anything?
Yeah, follow me on the Instagram, Fig Fate, and share some figure photography and other collectibles of that nature. So if you want to check it out and see what that's about, I'd appreciate it.
And if anybody wants to just straight up send me like $300 for this,
dude, you better sell that shit quick. Michael or Halloween Ends is tanking the value.
Yeah.
Sell your merch now, kids.
Definitely what I'm afraid of. All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks for coming. We'll be back next Thursday, 6:45, sometime like that for the pre-show. Show starts at 7.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.